Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, a podcast where we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John, one of the things that people don't really, because there are some things that are universally, and that's not a pun on the classic monster films, but universally recognized as sources of terror.
Mm-hmm.
It can be as primal as the dark.
Yes.
Obviously, sudden unexplained death, which is where a lot of the vampire legends come from.
Oh, sure.
And wasting sicknesses. And the beasts of the field, which is where a lot of the werewolf mythology comes from.
Is this turning into an episode of lore?
Yeah, it is. It is. I could use some of that lore money, but I will say,
God. Great show. They earned every penny of that.
Absolutely. But this is what I'll say. This movie really taps into a very primal fear of a lot of people, and that is fear of Band-Aids. There are a lot of people out there who they see any kind of gauze or Band-Aids, they are going to
the
shit their
makers
pants.
of this film, and this is 1998's Tale of the Mummy. I'm sorry, 1998's Russell Mulcahy's Tale of the Mummy.
Yeah. Credit.
I don't know in what world there was ever a point when Russell Mulcahy deserved a John Carpenter-esque stamp on a movie, but anyway, nor should he want his name attached to this. But what I was gonna say is, Russell Mulcahy, the makers of this movie, really, they looked at mummies and they go, the thing we've really latched onto are the wrappings. That really is the key to the whole thing, man.
I will say this before we get into the big part of it. I'll say this. This is a different take.
Sure.
And they do explain that. It's not as if they're sitting there going like, this has always been part of it. No, they actually make up some nonsense that ties it specifically to this immortal Egyptian dark magician.
This movie, a lot of favors were done this movie by doing Legend of the Mummy last week. Lot. Because this movie is awful. But it's at least, as you're talking about, it has some ideas. It's striving to. It looks like a movie.
What I do think, and this is true of a lot of Russell Mulcahy's stuff. For those of you who go on the IMDb, this is a guy who had a few. He was a god of music videos.
Oh God! Most of his IMDb is music videos. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but he got a few steps up to bat for the big leagues where they're like, take a feature film. One of the ones I know that you love and that I like is The Shadow.
Sure.
And for me, a lot of it has to do with the character, but I could tell that guy is a crazy visual filmmaker who aims for the fences. Yep. And in this movie, he is let down by technology's not there yet because his visual ideas are cool. And a lot of this could have been awesome several years later.
Yes.
The effects are not there yet, but the visual concepts are pretty decent. And then you look at this amazing cast he has. There are things in this movie's favor.
Yeah.
But it's bad. It's bad. Plus, we also saw the 88-minute American cut.
Well, there is no other cut that really got released. I don't think much.
No, there's a European cut, which is like the full version, which is I think.
I saw that there are two 1 hour 55-minute international version. Well, where the hell is that? I don't think that's
we were able to.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think that's even available on physical media. If that came out, it came out and then went away quickly in foreign markets, truly non-English speaking.
Do I think that will make this better? No, but I think some of the weaknesses, especially in storytelling.
I will say, watching this movie, I did not know that, and then watching it, I went and looked at the IMDb trivia specifically to look for this because I felt like pieces of this movie were missing. It feels like a hack job, and that is something. Even if it wouldn't have been better, and they talk about due to poor test screenings, they cut it down. But this is all. We've seen many movies like this, even on this show we have, where it's like, a studio gets nervous about something, cuts a movie down. That never works. I think you're better off releasing
releasing a long one that people say, man, that was long and boring.
Yeah, I think you're better
Well,
than
at least
that.
it might make sense.
I can't think of any movies I've heard where it's like, well, they cut out 45 minutes and then it got great.
Yeah, it's true.
It's usually like, kind of didn't make sense. There's a movie.
There have been some studio cuts that are better, but it's not usually because of. It's usually due to editing, like
pacing and stuff like that. Not usually like massive chunks of the movie. I
bring up Donnie Darko all the time,
Sure.
only because that's one of those instances where a director's cut does not help, and is actually the worst version.
I actually frequently don't like. I would say more often than not, I don't like director's cuts. Usually because they are longer and more indulgent. But you're not usually, once again, talking about an additional like half hour of footage necessarily.
No,
I mean, that's a lot of a movie to be missing. Or if you are talking about a half hour's back, it's taking the movie to a 3-hour runtime, not from a 2-hour to an 80-minute run. You know, that's a lot. There's a movie. No one remembers this movie, but I rewatched it recently. God knows why. Do you remember the movie Disturbing Behavior with James Marsden?
Yes, I remember its existence.
Yeah.
I watched it once a long time ago.
It was basically like it's very much in this same era. It's probably around the same time. And I was big into the Screams and the Kevin Williamson, and we'll talk about Dimension in a second. But those kind of movies, I don't know if they actually made this. But all those sort of like this was like teen Stepford Wives, right? It was like Stepford teens. But that was a movie that they took a 2-hour movie and cut it down to a 75-minute movie, and it actually makes no sense. Like the movie actively makes no sense. You cannot follow any character. It is. I would say it's almost like it's like, as a film student, required viewing to show just what happens when you just start removing pieces of a film.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not. Who knows? Maybe that 2-hour cut was terrible, but it could only be better than. I mean, I think the thing always about the and I know you haven't seen it, and but like my point always about the Zack Snyder cut of Batman v Superman is, even if you don't like it more, the movie is more coherent.
Well, again, in the same field, his Justice League. I did see the theatrical release, and then I watched the director's restored version, the miniseries version. Yeah. And I liked it better. Well, I still don't think it's great, but it did make more sense. It felt more complete.
It's so hard to go into a movie and just start like chopping things. Or this doesn't have the schizophrenic nature of Justice League, where you can clearly see where they've reshot things. This just feels like, hey, like, I mean, things like when the leads of this movie kiss, and you're like, was this a thing?
Well, I will also say
Jason Scott Lee is terrible.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy,
that is a guy that you should be talking about constantly on Action Show.
And we have, and we will.
Yeah, but this is not. I've never found him to be a good actor at all.
He had his little run
action
here.
Guy, and he's handsome.
He had his little run, and we're right smack in the middle of it, because the big breakout for him was when he did the Bruce Lee movie.
Right, and he's great in it.
Is he? He's okay in it.
He is,
and he do the physicality. That's the thing about it, right? You talk about
physicality and some of the charm. Yeah. Though Bruce Lee had a charm that guy will never get close to. But
actually, really few people could. That guy was just pure movie star. Even
Holy
the bad
shit,
Bruce Lee movies.
Even in the dirt poorest Cantonese language, you sit there looking at that stuff going like, that was made for $50, and look at that guy burning up every frame he's on. He is burning it up.
I just watched Marlowe, not the new one, the one from the 60s with James Garner, and he's in like 2 scenes in that, and he totally walks away with the movie.
Of course
Bruce Lee shows up as a henchman, and by the way, it's just a charm off with him and James Garner, obviously.
Oh, sure.
You're just going like, I'm going like, this is a bummer that these two didn't make like a buddy movie. That would have been something.
Oh man.
But you also get a fight scene, and you're going like, oh, movie magic that James Garner's holding his own in a fight against Bruce Lee. But
especially with him sitting there waiting for his like replacement knee to get out. But I was. But
oh yeah, but sorry, I was gonna say Jason Scott Lee. The other thing I remember, the one I remember as a kid, was the 1994 Jungle Book movie. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
the live action Jungle Book that I was so when I was a kid, the Jungle Book was my number one, the Disney animated movie. My parents can still tell you about. That was the one that as a kid I made them watch 8 times a day or whatever, right? Like,
wow, you just loved Baloo.
I did love. How could you not? He's hilarious.
It's-
But I remember seeing the state, here tease for a future episode, the Stephen Sommers directed 1994 one, because that, and going, the animals don't talk, and it's not very funny, and there's no songs. So my memory of that movie was,
what have you done to the Jungle Book?
my memory of that movie was hating it because it wasn't anything like the Jungle Book I loved. I was like, this is kind of serious, and they're just animals. What the fuck? Why would I want to watch this? So anyway, he makes that, and then of course, this, and then the same year he makes, all right, a movie I'm a defender of, and that is Soldier with Kurt Russell.
Yep.
I love Soldier, man. I mean, it's silly, but it's fun pulp sci-fi.
I'll take that. But this is not that, and I keep
and that I was gonna say that might be the best use of him simply because he's like an emotionless killing machine that's trying to fight Kurt Russell.
And he's perfect for it.
Yeah,
so when you look at this cast, and then you have him,
you've also got a lot of people on the cusp here, right?
Well, yes, but you still look at this, and that seems to be a very consciously chosen cast. And then you get to, and I actually think the lead lady is good.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with her. And then I found out in the trivia she was a last minute replacement for the person they were going to have.
Oh.
But I sit there going like, did Dimension force Jason Scott Lee on Russell McKay?
Had to be,
because it seems everything else is so specific, and then he just seems like
to be. I mean, I think one of the biggest moment that really showed that to me. Number one, he plays Detective Riley, and he goes, I know a great Irish bar. And she goes, oh, a cop named Riley knowing about an Irish bar? I'm like, but this guy is Asian.
I know, and no one ever brings that up. No one even goes like, Riley?
But like that
Really?
feels like, why wouldn't you take that out of the script then? What are you doing, man?
Or you turned it into like a character thing where they go, Riley, he's like going, yeah, my dad is Irish. I'm like, I'm mixed.
But you can't
race,
you can't just toss that in and then have me, because it's so weird. Yeah, this woman didn't really. I mean, she's okay. I mean, she has had a career.
Actually,
she's still acting.
She's had a very good career, but it's all stuff that a lot of television.
Ooh, she was in an episode of SEAL Team, one of my favorite shows.
I somehow saw that coming. But she was on 52 episodes of CSI, and that's why I'm surprised you didn't know her immediately.
Where was she on CSI? Oh, she joins in season 5, 6. Okay. She 52 episodes, but they're sort of sporadically placed, I guess is what I would say.
Right. And she did a lot of UK stuff. I mean, I think that's her
like
thing.
I don't think she's like, I mean, it's hard with this movie.
She did some of your Stargates that you love. I know you love Stargate.
I don't know about with a passion. I enjoy a Stargate. I enjoy a Stargate here and there. She's been on a lot of stuff I watch. But yeah, I think just in sort of, I watched Chancer back in the day.
She was the female lead of Hidalgo.
Oh, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so in other words, she's not obscure. She's a solid actress.
And she's, especially for what the material she's given here is, she's doing as well as anyone could do in this, really. Like, we will
talk about it as we get into the proper movie, but this is a pretty packed cast, and surprisingly, some of the people I'm most looking forward to in it disappear so quickly.
I was furious, man. I was furious about the beginning of this movie, but first let's talk about this poster.
I'm not sure that we're both furious about the same person, but we'll talk about that.
I think we're furious about some of the same people, but I think I might have another one that I'm more upset about than you are.
I know exactly.
Just like one of my faves is in this movie, and he goes out quick. All right. Let's talk about this poster, which is, boy, once again, this is a 1990s video store poster if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw this in a... This is the thing, even as a kid, seeing a poster like this, I would have been, pass, that looks cheap. Like, there's just...
Well, they just didn't put any work into
this
whatsoever.
That's the thing. The fact this comes from Dimension, though, we have 5 episodes left this season before we get to the 2000s. 3 of these movies will be Dimension films because we're right in the Dimension takeover of genre cinema at this point.
Just like eventually we'll get to the Blumhouse takeover.
Yes, I mean it's sort of like the eras we go through, but this is Scream really was what they took over with, right? Like Scream.
I like the German poster. I mean, concept-wise. Sorry, I skipped ahead.
No, but I was just talking about because I think this is all rolled up in the same. Also it was called Talos, the Mummy in other countries. It is better. I agree. It is. Well, I mean,
it just conceptually it ties in with.
It's at least like this could be anything. This could be any Mummy movie could have this poster. For this.
The poster they gave us here it looks like they did a Photoshop filter on top of the whole thing that is grainy fabric-like swash.
Yeah.
And so there's that on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways that does indicate just how much of this movie is wrappings.
Yes, and then behind that you see a very basic mummy figure
could be
that is half in light, half in shadow,
and then
so all wrapped up.
And then we've got some pyramids.
Yeah.
The curse is legend. The adventure is real. By the way, there is not an ounce of adventure in this movie.
No, there's no adventure. Even when they're trying to turn it into kind of like a serial killer thing, you're like,
well, that's what it is. That's what I kept thinking is. I saw this poster. I'd never seen this movie. Have you ever seen this one? So, but just seeing this poster, Russell Mulcahy's looking at the font, curse is legend, the adventure is real. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be similar to, in some ways, or attempting to do some of what the Brendan Fraser movie is doing. What I was not expecting is that, no, it's also another very 90s thing, which is to do sort of the Seven kind of movie. A little bit, like where it's sort of, they're going to act, the police are assuming this is a serial killer.
It's also a little Hammerish and a little Amicus-ish, where the thing is...
Oh, I wish it was more like that, though, you know?
Yeah, but it's a thing where in order for me to complete this ritual thing, I have to knock people off in succession. Then you're like,
I'm on board
so
for that
people
plot.
Get killed in succession.
But we've got... We'll get to it, but like when you've got Jason Scott Lee coming in and doing criminal profiling, I'm going, none of that. Just get this shit out of here, man.
This is all in London, and you're like going, why insert an American cop at all into this? And he's an American. He's
just a detective,
not
right?
a cop. He's like some sort of
State
Department.
Yeah, he is attaché or something like that.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, why is he involved?
Well, and what I love is that you have the British cops going, why is this guy here? And the movie doesn't ever answer it. They just
I'm pretty sure they did, but it's in some part of the dialogue that we weren't paying attention to because it's
there's
all gobbledygook.
There's a lot of gobbledygook, and there's a lot of, once again, probably consolidation of stuff. When you take a half hour out of a movie, that's a lot to lose, obviously. But the thing I was going to say about this, this is... Oh,
it's because one of the first victims is an American ambassador or an American congressman who is in London. And he gets something yanked out of his body.
Is he DSS? Like, is he Diplomatic Security Service?
Sure. Why not?
That's
somehow
that's what The Rock is in the Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh, good. Good. So this is based on reality.
Well, I will say though, the Rock, this movie really could have used The Rock. Literally almost anybody. It could have used anybody. You need a movie star in this role.
You kind of do,
because it's such a bland character.
You could have just shoved it off on the British cop, who is an actor I like, by the way. Huge waste of Jack Davenport, who is a very talented but this is also early Jack
Davenport. It is. This is, because I think he really came to prominence with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Those were sort of big breakouts for him.
Speaking of trying to fix things, if this movie had been his character as the local cop, having to deal with Sean Pertwee, and it becomes he's crazy and a visionary. I don't believe him, but I'm forced to work with him, and it became like a two-hander of those guys. That would have worked.
Make him an actual Irish cop, and he's fucking Gerard Butler.
Sure, but Gerard Butler here is 14 years old, so
Oh boy, when he popped in, I'm like, well, that is baby Butler, man. That is baby Butler.
It's Lil Jerry.
Little
Lil Jerry.
Little Jerry Butler shows up in this movie. This is
Letting his Scottish flag fly. He's not softening it for this movie whatsoever.
You got that right. I mean, this is
he
the
walks
third...
in a kilt, full on kilt.
How you doing? And he's... Boy, Dimension will take notice of him, though, because he's going to be Dimension's Dracula in just a couple years, so...
Okay.
It's me, Vlad Dracul.
God.
A movie I don't remember at all. I know I saw, but I don't remember. But what I'm saying is, yes, also, yes, he's a baby, and no one knew who he was. He's coming off of playing a nameless naval officer in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah, so I would not suspect.
Where I've watched that movie looking for him and have to pause to like find little baby Jerry Butler in that film. So yeah, but it is a huge bummer that he goes away in like 5 minutes.
I knew that was your most sad one.
Well, there were two, because I think Sir Christopher Lee obviously is the other big one that I'm like, no.
Oh, then.
You're talking about Polito.
I'm talking about Polito.
I don't even know why you would cast Polito, honestly.
Well, here's the thing: is that that's kind of a shock and surprise. But he's just wasted. Now, Christopher Lee, I knew they were going to bring in as an honorary thing, and I didn't expect him to be in the entire movie. So him going out, I didn't expect him to go out in
5 minutes, though. I mean, I thought maybe it'd be a little
setup,
more
and I'm like, okay, that was a nice nod. But Polito, just so great, and he's there, and he has 3 lines, I guess, and dies, and he dies in a very startling way. But I'm like, yeah, okay.
I do wonder, he was in another big hit Dimension film, which was The Crow. I don't know if that may be some of the producers were like, John,
we can get Polito cheap, and he's like, just, and they're all right.
But it's just a waste, because I do agree. I mean, Polito, great, and obviously
you also have Michael Lerner wasting this. You have Honor Blackman wasting this.
Oh, holy shit! Names. Honor Blackman. I mean, Polito is the most wasted, but Honor Blackman is also why?
I will say this though,
it's like she was just around.
Well, I mean, it could have been that she's just around, and they're like, "Oh, I love her. Let's just give her a couple lines." I'll say this for Mulcahy, though. Mulcahy gives all these iconic actors, even if they only have 3 lines, he gives every one of them like a star shot when they first show up.
Well, yes, because I mean, Mulcahy...
Christopher Lee, it's like the camera just sort of like zooms in and holds that face, and I'm like, well done, Mr. Mulcahy. And when Honor Blackman, she just turns and looks right at the camera when she first shows up, you're like going... That's the way to honor an actor, even if they're there for 5 minutes. It's like,
because I mean, look at the stuff he's made.
Gets it.
One, he's a nerd, right? He's clearly one of us going, oh my God, can you believe Honor Blackman's in my movie? You know what I mean? Like, it definitely has that vibe to it. Or oh my God, look, it's Christopher Lee. He's here. And I get that. I don't put, I mean, obviously the thing got hacked up. Who knows? I don't put a lot of... I have liked other movies he's directed. This, by the way, is the first of 2 Mummy movies he directed. So we'll talk about another Mummy movie that he did later with our old friend Casper Van Dien.
I was looking at, just because it has been so long since he's been on my radar,
man. He's still around.
He basically shot all of Teen Wolf.
40 episodes, and he just did the movie. Yeah, they just did.
So I guess that's what he's known for now, and to me, that's kind of sad. I'm sure there are people that love that, but I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Really?
I mean, I agree. It's kind of sad, right? Like. Because that's good. That's objectively good. But it's also like objectively that's good, successful Hollywood work. It's just, boy, that's not something I care about.
Right.
But it's probably better than him doing Scorpion King sequels.
Yes.
Do we have to do those, by the way? No, those don't count.
No, they don't count.
Because those aren't monster movies. That whole franchise is weird. Those are the origins of a guy who will become a monster someday.
Yeah.
Weird. He also made a movie I didn't know existed. He made an Errol Flynn biopic called In Like Flynn.
I'm aware of it. Never saw it.
I didn't know of it, but I love Errol Flynn, but I will say it doesn't. It looks a little cheap. I would see a higher gloss Errol Flynn biopic.
So they got Duncan Rigger to do it.
Like,
hey, you're not working these days. You want to come in and be Errol Flynn?
Didn't Kevin Kline play Errol Flynn in something?
Probably.
I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good casting.
Yeah.
Yes, The Last of Robin Hood.
Oh boy.
2013 movie with him as Errol Flynn. All right. Tale of the Mummy.
Let's get it kicked off.
Bad title. Tale of the Mummy. What?
Sure. I prefer Talus the Mummy if you're going that way. If you're going to be that basic, I will go with the other one that has a weird word in it.
Yeah, it's just like Tale of the Mummy doesn't, like we had Legend of the Mummy last week. That's a better title. Tale of something
but this is
weird.
Russell Mulcahy's. He literally is sitting us down going, "This is my tale."
This has got to be the only Russell Mulcahy's anything, right? Can't think of anything else that he. And once again, I think the dude is talented, but I do think he's a guy who has a vision, and the material he's given, he's got a good eye.
The money or the tech is not there for him, because even in The Shadow, there's sketch, and that's big budget,
that's
that's
as big as you get at that point, yeah.
But you're seeing even then the limitations. This guy visually is.
Wait, he directed Ricochet. I love Ricochet. That movie's nuts.
All right, we've lost.
Come on, Ricochet rules.
Actually, I've never seen Ricochet.
Oh, Denzel and John Lithgow just devouring scenery.
Big, hammy villain.
Absolutely devouring scenery. All right. This movie starts off in 1948. We're on an expedition dig in Egypt, and we meet Sir Christopher Lee. He's narrating even. Oh,
he's even narrating, and of course, that's what you're paying your money for.
Boy, I will say,
rolling tones.
Jesus Christ. The whole time he's on screen, I was just like, it just was like a warm blanket, man. It was just like,
agreed.
He's back. I just
and also,
love
since
this man.
I mean, because even in, even when you're doing your Lord of the Rings, he's amazing.
He's just about to do Lord of the Rings.
Right, but you see the age there. This is he still seems like he could kill somebody here.
I don't know. Do you think he seems aged in that, or is Count Dooku? I mean, aged, but not, I wouldn't say aged, not decrepit is, I guess, where I would land.
Right, it's more about him just standing there. You know, it's him just standing there.
We'll talk about when we get eventually to Dark Shadows, and he's literally clearly like propped up in a chair. And Burton is psyched out of his mind down there, but it is like,
of course,
I've been given lines, but I'm clearly like in a wheelchair.
Yeah, God bless him though.
Well, he was always great till the end, man, no question.
Agreed. So, but here he is, Sir Richard Turkell.
Yes, Sir Richard Turkell. This time I'm not the mummy.
Yeah, and he looks right at the camera.
Yeah.
This time I'm not the mummy.
We'll talk about looking at the camera at the end of this movie. Jesus Christ.
Yes, we will.
So he's writing in his journal, and they come to him and they go, Turkell, we found something. We did it. I always love. We've talked about it before. These expeditions where it's not a slow process. It's you dig until you find the thing, and then you've completely uncovered it, and you're right there.
In this case, we are at least led to believe that this wasn't their first week, because he literally is like going, day 262.
No, but it is like there's been no movement, and then all of a sudden we're in the thing.
What I thought was hilarious is we're in Egypt on an Egyptian, and of course there are multiple faiths in Egypt. But this kid on the expedition in 1947, 1948, he basically knocks out one little brick in a wall, and then he's like going, Allahu Akbar! And then is like running outside, and everyone, the casting, not the casting, but the direction of the extras is cracking me up, because it's just all these locals just like going, yay,
shot in beautiful
like,
I'm sorry, it's not shot in Egypt. The whole thing was shot in Luxembourg.
Sure. But you have all these guys going,
for tax reasons.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and I'm like going, oh, they're trying to, this is Russell Mulcahy trying to do like the scene in Raiders. But you're not getting this
by the way, $8 million budget according to IMDb. And that seems about right for what I saw.
It actually does, and I actually think he stretched the fuck out of that $8 million.
He did, well, because this looks
got such a good cast.
Once again, especially when you compare to what we watched last week, you're like, okay, this movie has some money. Last week's movie had no money. This movie has some money, And
I would watch this any day of the
Mulcahy,
week
as we're
over
talking,
what we
Mulcahy,
watched
because
that.
we haven't mentioned the thing. Of course, he's most famous for, which is Highlander, right? I mean, Highlander is his.
He's
I mean,
the man behind Highlander,
that's
but
sort of
then
the
he
thing,
also did Highlander 2.
which is unwatchable garbage.
It's unbelievable that the same man would do that to his own series.
I know the thing about it, but the thing I was gonna say is, no matter what that guy does forever, he's still dining out on Highlander, right? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he'll always have a job because they go like, well, he did make Highlander.
Mm-hmm. And that's also a really good genre picture that stretched its money.
It really
Luckily,
did.
the case with that one is it stretches money in like historical costumes and things like that
Yes.
for flashbacks.
And
there wasn't anything too techie about it. Like
no, and the thing that's great about that movie, which I love and have watched so many times, is it's also a movie like the first John Wick that doesn't have much money, but implies a huge world. It infers. Yeah. It shows you just enough to get a taste of this eternal warrior's life and stuff like that. So I think very smart, very good script on that movie too. Mm-hmm. Go watch Highlander instead of this.
Yeah.
So they lower Christopher Lee, John Polito, and douchebag McGee. Because of course we got to have British guy who goes, I'm funding this. I want to see what's in there.
Yeah, is that Ronan Vibert as young?
Yes, it is. And
the only instruction he got from Russell McKay was like, every few seconds, take a swig.
Yeah. Well, and this guy, I mean,
you're young and drunk. That's your thing. You're obnoxious, rich, old, and drunk.
Ronan Vibert can't do anything about this, but I'm sorry, he is clearly a Wish.com David Thewlis. I mean, just take a look at him. He's got a Thewlis look, but just no. R.I.P.
You know, he's only going to be on screen for like 4 minutes. So again,
and sadly, R.I.P. He died last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kept working. I mean, the guy did work. But no. And so he's just going, and he's the one down. They get down into the tomb, and they're like, "There it is, the door to the treasures or whatever," and he's just gonna fucking tear this thing open with a sledgehammer. And it's Christopher Lee going, no, good lord, no, what are you doing? You idiot. I could have watched a whole hour of just Christopher Lee chastising this guy. Just put that down, you moron.
Oh yeah, no, that's good
stuff. But of course they, and then John Polito's scared guy, that's his part in this, is to go, what is that, some kind of curse?
But in his case, he's actually doing an accent.
Yeah, he is, but he's still John
doing
Polito.
British, and it's like, yeah, you're not quite there, John, but he is doing like the. He's probably a money man, also.
Yeah,
or he's not really the archaeologist. That's only Sir Richard. Basically,
aside from being underused, he's also just a weird choice. Yeah, like Polito is so. I mean, I of course automatically think of like the Coen Brothers appearances and stuff. Like, if you need like a sleazy mob guy or kind of a disheveled cop. Oh shit, he's the cop investigating the murders in Highlander. That's why he's in this.
Oh, there you go.
He is like the main detective following all the. Somebody keeps cutting people's heads off with a sword. So I think that's why he's in this. But that's what I'm talking. That's the kind of role I expect him to be. He's the irascible and angry landlord on Seinfeld. He's Jerry's like, ooh, Seinfeld, that kind of thing.
Enough with the Seinfeld.
Hey man, they keep putting Seinfeld actors in these movies. All right, I'm gonna keep talking about them. But it's just weird to see. Number one, I don't think I've ever seen Polito do an accent.
Yeah, that is
because you kind of hire John Polito to bring John Polito to a part. Fucking Miller's Crossing is a masterpiece, and everybody should watch that. Oh my god, and he's great in it. So they go in there and he goes, what does the curse say? And it's the standard like, for whoever opens this tomb shall be, And of course the not David Thewlis is going, oh whatever, just open it. Who cares?
Yeah, he grabs a full on like jackhammer and he's about to smash, and he's like, you fool! And again, it's more chastising.
Oh,
but he's like, put that down. He's like, we are not barbarians, we're archaeologists. So then rich guy pushes rich douchebag
And of course,
instead he goes, "Oh, it's probably loosened enough already."
and what do you know? It is. He just kind of pry
He's
this
able
thing
to
open.
push the wall open to the tomb. We don't see what he sees, but he goes, "Oh, that's impossible!" Ah, and then wind blows through.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, the mummy movies love a scary wind.
and he gets kind of choked out and killed, but then it gets worse. Like John Polito turns into, he kind of melts. Half of him turns into pottery and breaks away.
I was gonna say, my notes say Polito shatters.
And then Christopher Lee, like one of his hands goes like
Christopher Lee falls in half. He gets cut in half by
Oh
this.
right, he gets,
and
he
there's
falls in half.
there's the bad CGI of his
Oh,
half,
that is
and
the
then the
worst.
horrible computer generated
There's-
insides of him.
There's bad stuff to come, but that may be the worst.
Here's
shot.
the other thing that's crazy about the CGI in this movie. They make a big deal about this is Dimension Films in production with K&B makeup, but there's hardly any makeup in the movie. What is they hire?
I mean, as far as some of the gore stuff, I mean that counts.
It does,
And
but
then
it's sort of like, to make a big deal about they're co-producing. You've got
but
Kurtzman
then you
and
get-
Nicotero, and
then
you're just going
get
like,
there is a practical suit for the resurrected.
yeah, but it's just but anybody could have built it. I don't understand the idea of like making a big deal about we got one of the best effects companies. I mean, these guys
they need to get their money back because Jesus Christ, it all looks like shit. I mean, literally, that design and the immobile face that's supposedly talking all across
that's
the
the
end
thing
there.
that gets me about but the K&B effects company are some of the best in the business. I mean, they're the legends of
Not in
monster effects.
1998.
But obviously Dimension, and I know you and I firmly disagree on this, but they had what I would say done a successful job on From Dusk Till Dawn just before this, which they got.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I think you're kind of on your own on that one, but I think most people do really like the makeup in that, but
a couple of parts. But then you have like this I've got a vampire face, but it doesn't even blend into my neck. And then you're like, what's that about? Where you got everybody looking different, and some look okay, and then someone looks like they got Spirit Halloween store mask on. And
anyway, we don't need to relitigate that. But they of course will go on to do The Walking Dead, which is what they really become. That's big for them.
Well, I mean, they got better and obviously got more money. So
I think money is a thing here, and it almost feels like I wonder if this is a case where it's like we're gonna hire this great makeup company, and then they go, "Oh shit, that's gonna take a lot of time and money. Can we CGI most of it?"
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. And also, but no is the answer because CGI isn't even where it needs to be.
No, especially for what he wants or what they've actually written in, which is the mummy proper, the bad guy, will for most of the film be a sentient mass of wrappings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a fully CGI creature because that's not a costume you could put on somebody. And the CGI wrappings creature looks awful.
Yes, it really does.
In 10 more years, it would look amazing. Do it now, it'd be fucking awesome.
Well, you know,
but
what?
Back then,
did you have the thought I did?
Noble effort.
I don't know if he's a comic book guy or whatever, but Ragman from DC came to mind for me every time. He's like,
yeah.
And a character they eventually did do on Arrow, and even that CW show.
Ragman.
They did Ragman, and he looked better than this, even as a CW network show. Yeah, that's the thing is. All right, I just wanted the
almost 30 years ago this thing was made, and
K&B Effects. I just want to give some of their bona fides for just a second here, because I mentioned From Dusk Till Dawn. They did all the Tarantino movies. They came up. They had started working with Romero, and then they had done some of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. They did all the animatronic Buffalo for Dances with Wolves, and they did Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. So I just want to say that even at this point, they were kind of a gold standard in makeup, and I said they're just not allowed to play, but they make a big deal about Dimension Films presents in association with K&B Effects Group. And so I stupidly thought, well, this might look kind of cool then. But nope.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. And also, but then it's also mostly not practical makeup, and when it is, it's pretty shoddily done because I don't think there's any time or money involved here.
Oh, it looks so bad.
I mean, oh, and God, we'll talk about the final form the mummy takes. Jesus Christ. I guess not.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a practical suit, except for its legs, and it is.
Oh, those legs weren't practical? No, of course.
Sorry, man. Yeah. Sorry, I should have. I hate to spoil the magic.
You mean when he turns into a PlayStation 1 character from the waist down? All right. So yeah, they split in half. But as Christopher Lee is dying here, he pulls an Alec Guinness from Bridge on the River Kwai. And he's like, he does. You shall not be free, and blows this thing.
And he goes, God save us all, or he's like, God forgive us for what we have done.
Yeah. And holy shit, man, it's a terrible movie, but Christopher Lee was never less than at full gravitas, was he?
No, man, the guy didn't know how to.
The thing is, I'm watching this going like, you don't need to, but it's like 6 minutes in, and I'm going, all right, well, 2 of the best actors are dead, so this is trouble.
I know.
Luckily, there are, as we point out, though, there will be more good actors. They just kind of don't have a whole lot to do.
This is a stacked cast.
It's really weird. It's really weird because so we cut to modern day, and it's another dig, and this is Turkel's granddaughter is leading this.
Yes. Now this is the female lead we were talking about.
Louise Lombard is her name.
Louise Lombard, the actress.
Yeah.
And she is reading the same journal that he already read, and I think I was also sitting there going like, we don't need to hear it twice.
I do love that we saw him writing the journal and heard it, and then we see her reading that journal, and somebody went, no, people won't know what she's looking at. Put in the voiceover again. Yeah,
and then what's even better is that we had, on the first dig, we were told it was 1948, and when they show this journal, you see multiple dates in there. They are zooming in on this journal. You're seeing handwriting, and all the dates say 1961.
Do they?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Oh, that's bad.
And I was like going, come on, man.
That is unacceptable.
It's like if that is literally like we can't afford to even go back and reshoot that, then just cut it out.
Yeah, I don't know why.
She's sitting there with a book in her hands. You don't need to go on to the actual pages, and when you do, they're all saying 1961.
But now everything is high tech, and this also made me think of another Dimension film from around this when they put on these hazmat suits. I'm thinking about Mimic, which was a big hit for them. And this very much, like I said, everything about this. I saw so many Dimension horror films in this time that this movie totally has that look, because they did make stuff they were sort of the Blumhouse of their day, except for the thing Blumhouse is smarter about is they actually make smaller scale movies. Dimension was making big genre movies for little money.
Or trying to.
Yeah. They were trying to, because also around this time was Robert Rodriguez with The Faculty. Remember The Faculty?
Yeah.
It was okay. And Dimension gets the Halloween franchise at this point. I mean, they just take over horror, and I would say ultimately probably not for the better. I don't think there's a lot of classics in this era.
In the case of this, it's clearly...
Or Phantoms. This also reminds me of Phantoms.
Oh, sure. Phantoms. Mm.
But Affleck was the bomb in that movie, of course.
Of course. Now, the thing with this is it's clearly Mulcahy going, yeah. And I wish him luck, because the idea is fine. He's like going, what we're doing is I'm bringing you to the modern day. This is what one of those Universal movies would be like if their expedition
and that would be
was
cool.
Now today. So they're in hazmat
suits.
Make
this movie. I'd be on board for that. This movie's
expensive. You've got
expensive,
them taking air readings, and they're talking to an HQ, which is Michael Lerner, who may be Turkish, Greek.
Michael Lerner's
Egyptian.
Another love Michael. Oh,
and he's got nothing to do here.
He's got nothing to do here, and also is kind of a weird choice. Also,
sure, but he's doing an accent because he's from somewhere.
Everybody's got a weird take, except for Jason Scott Lee, who's just boring
American guy.
And I will say the one guy though that right off the bat is just trying to jazz up this whole movie is Pertwee, right? Pertwee at every turn is trying to inject some energy, is trying to play a character.
Pertwee,
and I love Pertwee, man. And his dad, both him and his dad, immensely talented.
Absolutely. He brings it here. And actually, every time he's shunted to the background because he goes supposedly crazy, and then it takes a long time for us to get back to him, and that is when we see that he's got the shaved head with the tattoo and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there going, I missed you, man. The movie missed you. Thank God you're back.
The movie needs him. We'll talk about him next season in Dog Soldiers, which is a way better movie and a much better part for him. And just before this, he had been in Event Horizon, a better movie with a better part for him as well.
Yep.
Pertwee, this is a little blip on his radar. And interesting. I forgot he's also in Soldier. That's weird. I love this guy.
Here's the deal.
He's great.
The 4 people going back into the tomb.
And then little baby Butler.
You've got Sam Turkle, who is Louise Lombard, the granddaughter.
Yes.
You've got Sean Pertwee, who's Bradley, and he's, I guess,
Bradley Cortez. Pertwee does not look like a guy. His last name is Cortez.
No, but he's all kind of slightly cocky and has a kind of back and forth with Sam. But Sam is engaged to little baby Butler.
Little baby Butler,
Burke,
who plays Buck. He's back.
Yeah, and you've got Dr. Claire Mulroney, played by Lizette Anthony, who, crush, gorgeous,
sure. You're talking about Kroll's own Lizette Anthony.
Kroll's own.
Kroll. She was in Dracula Dead and Loving It. She was in Husbands and Wives.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff. Still working.
Oh yeah, no, she's legit.
She just did an episode of Nightman right before this. So come on, this is all.
Of course.
She's in the Robinson Crusoe with Pierce Brosnan.
Yep, and she was Angelique in the Dark Shadows reboot.
Yes, of course.
So anyway, here she's kind of the cynical doctor lady, and that's actually an interesting part for her because she's usually not that hard edged. But anyway, so she's there as the doc.
Yeah,
so they all go in. No one's been in here since her grandfather blew the place up, but they quickly let go.
By the way, everything's isn't that damaged from that explosion.
I know, and what's even better is the hole that they had, that the door was in that had the seal.
Mm-hmm.
That's no longer there, but it looks like it got bricked up.
Yeah.
So you're like, if the place blew up, why would the hole still be in the same shape but with literal bricks filling it? But anyway, they just knocked the bricks out, and they're like, there it is. And I'm like, so why is this so high tech? They knew exactly where to go. They go inside, they knock some bricks out. There it is. And it is an interesting tomb because this whole thing is like this enormous silo. So it's not like your typical. And the silo has these spikes coming out of the walls randomly. The model work in this is not good.
It's not good, and it's the classic, like, one of these horror movies things where you're just going like, none of this looks Egyptian. None of this looks like it has any. There's no
they
thought.
They do say this is like no other tomb you'll ever see.
Oh yeah, that's some lampshade hanging if I've ever seen it. It looks very industrial in a weird way.
Right, and on some of the spikes are skeletons and bodies. At least one of which looks like it also got the ceramic treatment, which didn't really explain like what magic is that the mummy has that can turn people into sculpture.
For as much as this movie tries to explain, it also just doesn't explain a bunch of stuff too.
Right, exactly.
Boy, this movie can't be bothered.
The sarcophagus is not a normal shape either. It's almost like a stone egg, and it is hanging suspended in the middle of the silo. So it's not even resting on the surface.
Right.
This is all kind of weird, but they're like, look at it. It's perfectly preserved.
Look at it.
Watch out for the weird gases that might be in there. Let's all be very careful. But Baby Butler is like,
Baby Butler.
Oh no, I need to get that for my fiance. Yeah. And he sees this medallion.
My baby wants a necklace. My baby gets a necklace.
Yeah, there's like an Eye of Ra necklace hanging from one of the corpses on a nearby spike. Mm-hmm. So in his hazmat suit, he goes ahead and starts doing a climb out.
We know nothing about this character, and we will know nothing about this character. So I have no idea why he does this.
Well, he does because Sam's like, look, whatever his name is,
Burke.
Don't do that. I don't need. He's like, no, I promised you a ring, and I couldn't afford a ring.
Right.
Now I'm going to get you this. And she goes, I don't need it. And then he goes ahead and grabs it. And she goes, okay, I'll just throw it here. He throws it there. And she's like, thanks, I guess. And then he slips and falls to his death.
And I went, no, why? Keep him in this movie.
I know. I literally heard you, and I live miles away from you.
But he also went, I have to go be a bigger movie star than all of you.
Is that true?
That he's a bigger movie star than everyone else in this film? Yes.
I'm sorry.
Aggressively so. Somebody
you need to look again at Louise Lombard's career.
I'm sorry, did she have Plane open to better than expected box office? I don't think so.
Has she fought a geostorm?
She never fought a geostorm. She didn't fight that asteroid. She has not saved the president thrice, sir, in every time something has fallen.
So when are they going to have him team up with from Jack from 24? When are they going to have that crossover?
Actually, brief tangent, but I promise come right back. Olympus Has Fallen actually started out as the screenplay for the 24 movie.
Oh, really?
And then became something else. But it was originally the White House was going to be taken and Jack Bauer has to save the president.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it was. And that Antoine Fuqua, who directed that, was attached to do the 24 movie and then just stayed with the script. But yes,
interesting.
Yeah. So that, but yeah, this is just a taste of much more Butler to come on this show because we've got him as Dracula and we've got him as the Phantom. Man, if only he'd make a werewolf movie, he would hit all of our, all of our things.
Of all classic monsters, he's one that I actually think he's well suited to a werewolf.
Yes.
I hate his Dracula. I remember.
Well, I think actually his Dracula and his Phantom.
His Phantom.
Well, I think both of those. I agree. He's not right for those. Yeah, he's not right for those parts. I agree. The werewolf thing is right. He's a burly dude. He needs to be playing like. I mean, there's a reason that it's 300 that sends him to superstars. Like, get a sword in that guy's hand and have him start barking.
Facial hair on that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, come on. But like that's the thing. Anytime when he tried to do his rom-coms, you're like, what do you? No, Jesus. You are not this guy.
27 dresses. Is that one?
No. That's the other hike. That's Heigl and Marsden.
Right.
He did The Ugly Truth.
Oh God.
That's right, Katherine Heigl. You gotta hear the ugly truth. Anyway, he's out of this movie. Maybe good for his career, but sad for me as an audience member that I now have to. I mean, I like everybody else here, but once again, in the Jason Scott Lee, I'd much rather have Gerard Butler as my action hero.
Sure, but again, no one knows him just yet. So
no, he's right.
Shoved this guy,
but then, like I said, they took notice and gone, maybe a Dracula, which is once again, it's a bad choice. Even though I love the guy, and he's doing just fine. Is my point.
Oh, sure. No, he doesn't need your sympathy or support.
Yeah. Well, he's got my support because I do go see every movie he makes. So.
Wow.
I go. So anyway, yes. But then kind of nobody's that upset that this guy just fell to his death.
That's the big thing for me is that because we cut to, I think it actually says like 3 months later or something like that.
It's just like
we're back in London.
Yeah.
And the first shot.
And I was baffled because I expected kind of the rest of the movie to maybe be about this group of people in the tomb. Nope, we're out of there.
Well, no, the movie is about this group of people, but I was
going to say this expedition, maybe I thought, or there'd be at least more to this expedition than this is all we see.
Yeah, so then it's literally Sam. So of all the characters to immediately cut to, it's Sam Turkle. So she's the recently the recently de-fiancéed.
It's only been 3 months. Called? Oh shit, I just got de-fiancéed, you guys.
and she's walking down the street just grinning. I was like, that's not a good cut.
Well, this also is this part of a hack job? Maybe, I don't know. This cut feels real weird to me.
I will say that they do address it. They actually address it, which is I'm just impressed because later on she's talking to one of the people from the group, and she goes, I don't know why, but even Burke's death didn't affect me the way I thought it would.
The other thing we should mention also before Burke falls.
In other words, she didn't care.
We also got more Scary Win, and we got Sean Pertwee seeing visions and going, ah! Oh, that was also in there too. Because that's key.
before they get in their hazmat outfits, they set something up with Pertwee, and he's doing like a prediction for Sam. And you're like, what is this guy, psychic? And then the doctor lady, who's Lizette Anthony, she goes, he just picked up on surface cues. This is like a party trick he does.
Yes.
And you can tell from the expression on Pertwee's face, he goes, yeah, that's exactly it. But he's like, no, man, I'm actually kind of psychic, which is why he has the vision when he's in the tomb, and then he will become the visionary, psychic, crazy guy for the rest of the movie.
I felt bad for Pertwee. They spend the rest of the movie with this shaved head and this dumb tattoo.
I kind of liked it.
Did you?
I mean, I'm not saying that I would get that tattoo. I'm just saying that the idea that the guy
I think
is
that might be
driven
bad
so
for the show we're in. That might be tough for you to play other parts.
Yeah.
Kind of gone all in on the crazy Egyptian cult member.
They had looked at the ceiling of the tomb, and there was a hieroglyphic that they very quickly go, oh, that's the sun, and those are all the planets in alignment.
You can just assume every scene happens very quickly because this movie is in such a hurry to be over.
Yeah, they're like, oh, something major must happen when the planets are in alignment.
I will say this movie doesn't drag because it's also just missing a half-hour film. So,
if
anything, it's more, I'm struggling to catch up with the movie sometimes.
Yep.
Wait, what? Yeah, it's at 88, clocks in at 88 minutes. Jesus.
Yeah, that's
short.
this cut.
That is short.
But basically, that's something they take away. It's like, hey, isn't there a planetary alignment coming up in a few months? It's like, yeah, that's weird. Okay, anyway. So
nobody is too put off by anything in this movie, really.
Right, and so they're all back to their normal lives. They did get the stuff out of the tomb because it's on display.
Because we see Sam get the invitation to the opening of the thing is Michael
at the
Lerner
British Museum or wherever.
Because we see her look at the invitation that cuts to the British Museum, which is closing. I thought that was a weird cut. They're like, invitation, and then there's even a voiceover that goes, welcome to our new exhibit on the mysteries of Egypt. The museum is now closing. What?
Yeah. They literally cut to the end. Then you have Michael Lerner talking to one of the security guards, like, "It was been a very good night. Okay, well, see you later." Security guard's like, "Yeah, absolutely, doctor, whatever your name is."
Because he comes up to him and goes, "Sir, the museum's closing." "Oh, wait, Doctor Professor Marcus. I didn't know it was you. You stay as long as you like, then."
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh no, I don't know what the point is."
Whatever.
The point is that in just a few minutes, the sarcophagus will be empty, and the security guard will be literally just slashed to ribbons by broken glass.
The lights go out. You hear glass break. When you come up, the tomb is empty. The glass case is broken. Another security guard is going up to this guy who's just pouring blood from his face, and he's like, "Oh no, we've had some kind of break-in or something."
Yeah,
and this guy's eyes are gone. Right? Isn't that the thing? He took the guy's eyes. Isn't that this?
The security guard?
I thought that's what the blood on his face was.
No, the glass thing that the sarcophagus in blew out, and he's literally been sliced to ribbons by broken glass.
Then I guess we don't see where you get, because the eyes are where he comes into.
I think that might be the U.S. Senator guy.
It is, but we don't. Do we see that guy get killed?
I don't think so.
That's okay. This is what's confusing. We cut from this to a different crime scene.
Yeah, a different crime scene, exactly.
But we don't see. We see the mummy escape, and then it's implied, and so that's where I'm getting confused in my notes, because as I have here, there's the crime scene, the victim's eyes are missing, but it's not the victim we actually see get attacked.
Right,
Ooh,
and we actually don't really see that either, because like you said, the lights go out, and you hear that explosion.
But like,
and
I think there was a part of it that goes like, wait, what body are they looking at here?
Yeah, it is confusing, and there is voiceover, because you've got you have our detective guy who is
Jack Davenport.
Why am I blanking? Jack Davenport.
Detective
Bartone.
Horrible name.
It sounds like someone on NYPD Blue.
That's right.
Hey,
like
Bartone.
None of these names fit the characters. Jason Scott Lee is Riley. Sean Pertwee is Cortez.
Stand out the most.
But I'm saying, like, Sean Pertwee is Cortez. This guy is Bartone. I mean, yeah, it does feel like Detective Bartone. Yeah, should be Dennis Franz coming and going, yeah. Oh my God! By the way, if the American cop that came out to investigate was Sipowicz, this movie automatically 10 times better.
Automatically a winner.
It's the same movie where the woman is like kind of turned on by him, and he's like, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that would be great.
Fucking Franz with a big stogie going, yeah, I think somebody cut this guy's eyes out.
Immediately making eyes at him going, oh, who's this American?
I think some kind of sick bastards over here cutting people's organs out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know about your mummies and whatnot, but someone's a real sick twist.
We got one sick fuck.
Unfortunately not. What
no,
we have
I wish
an actual London detective is then kind of
and by the way,
shouldered out of the way.
When you talk about he should be the main character, and I know as we're saying he's not established. This might be just you're like Jack Davenport shows up. You're like, ooh, handsome, dashing British detective. Here's our hero, right? This guy looks like a leading man.
The way he's portrayed, I like him already because he reminds me of when you watch those British cop shows. Because he's not fancy British guy. He seems like blue collar, just, solid at his job. And I like him immediately because he's not dashing hero. But then you have an extremely handsome Asian American man show up.
Coming in here doing almost like this is almost like a Keanu kind of part, right? Where he's like, well, here's what the victim knew. Like, it's just sort of, everything is just kind of here. And, obviously our killer intends to, he's going like...
Yeah, he comes in and he's making incredible insights after 2 seconds. And
by the way, insights that don't matter because it's not a serial killer movie.
No.
I don't need a rundown of the psychology of the perp when what a waste of everyone's time.
What a waste of also logic as to why is this person involved immediately? Oh. I mean, besides the fact that was a U.S. senator, wouldn't your investigation begin and end there? Mr. American, why would you then be, you know what? Let me dig into what else is going on around this museum.
Jack Davenport the same year does do a BBC. Do you remember the BBC show Ultraviolet?
By name.
It was about a secret government police force that hunts vampires, and it's him and Idris Elba.
Okay, that just went to the top of my list.
It's good, and it's certainly way better than this.
Wait, do you have the box set of that?
No, I don't know that it's been released in the U.S.
I was going to ask you to loan it to me.
I don't think it's gotten a U.S. release. Not that would stop me from it,
because that is.
It's on Amazon Prime apparently. I remember watching it on Netflix, like back when Netflix was just starting to stream stuff.
That is like a dream I've had many times.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, you got baby Idris. That's pre-Wire Idris. Little baby Luther. Oh, we need John Luther to walk into this movie. Literally any other cop from any other better show should show up on this.
And it's not me being anti-American. I'm just sitting there going, there's no reason for this character to be there.
There's no reason for this character to be here.
There should be an American character.
And the other thing is, why would you cast Jason Scott Lee in a role that doesn't require him to do martial arts?
I know.
Like, what a waste. The guy is not an amazing actor, but he is an incredible martial artist. So have him fucking throw down
some physicality. I know there's a fight
somewhere. Oh, it's pretty brief, though. It's with Pertwee when they go to his apartment.
Oh, yeah.
There's some grappling. And once again, you just have Jack Davenport knocked out instantly. Because he's totally useless in this movie.
Yeah. Except for I'm rooting for him the whole time.
Me too, because I just like this guy.
I just like this guy. I like the actor.
He's he's in Talented Mr. Ripley the year after this, so obviously his career starts to ascend.
Good. Probably because they saw this movie and they're like, that guy's great.
Could we get that guy? I think that guy and Damon. Like that's the.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
That's it, man. That's the thing. Damon's doing good. We saw Good Will Hunting, and we saw Russell Mulcahy's Tale of the Mummy. These are the guys to get.
They would never admit to seeing this movie.
No one should. I'm gonna lie to people about if I've seen this movie from now on.
Yeah, it's like I only know him from his other work. He was in a mummy movie.
Oh, what? God. That's even he's going. I don't think that's me. I don't. It's a different.
It's amazing what they can do with digital.
Isn't that right? Remember? How about we talk about Talented Mr. Ripley or the Pirates movies?
Yeah, can we get to that?
So yeah, he shows up. Yeah, he analyzes the murder. Oh, then we just cut to an apartment building. and this woman's riding the elevator, and all of a sudden, the ceiling and the walls of the place start to break open.
Yeah.
And then she gets, as I write, she's covered by CGI wrappings.
Yep.
Because I can't express how computer generated this looks. I apologize almost to any other CG we've mocked on this show up to this point. The CGI in Blade is way better than this, and it's pretty
Holy shit.
the same year, and it's not great, but it's way better than anything here. They also, I think as we talked about, they don't overdo the CGI in that first Blade. Like, when it's there, it looks kind of weak, but they kind of know not to lean too hard on it. This movie way leans in on it, which is a huge mistake.
It's a huge mistake, but again, it's because you have a visual director who's like going,
this idea is cool.
Yes, this is my cool idea. And you just sit there going like, it's a cool idea to have, Christopher Lee cut in half, but not if you're going to make it look like that.
That's the thing, is like, but it's a cool idea, but
First Mortal Kombat game, arcade game, looks better.
Yeah.
Every fatality in the first Mortal Kombat looks better than that.
Agreed. But I was going to say, like, it's a thing where it's like, but your cool idea stops being cool when it looks like this. It's not cool anymore. Movies, I don't watch movies and go, cool ideas, man. This is intellectually working for me from a concept standpoint.
Well, you kind of have to do that sometimes with older movies where effects, stop motion or some sort of bad effect. You're like,
even those have
I know it's terrible, but
those have a charm to them that I feel like early CG never does. Like, if I go back and watch, not even Harryhausen, because that's so its own thing, but like the Phil Tippett work in RoboCop, right, and stuff like that. You go like, oh, this looks aged, but there's like a charm to it. With the CGI, it always just looks like, ugh.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Because no one's making it. At least with the RoboCop stuff or something like that, I'm going, oh, somebody crafted this. There's an artistry to this. This just looks like boop, beep, boop, boop.
Yep.
Terrible. All right. So, yeah, she gets attacked. We don't know what the hell's going on, though.
We don't know who she is.
And at the crime scene...
Think is vampire-wise, you're like, oh, maybe the risen mummy has to feed on people, because they haven't explained to us what this mummy wants.
But we do see Davenport and Lee roll up at the scene here, and we see in the crowd of onlookers a bald guy with a crazy tattoo. And I thought, oh, this is mysterious. What I love is the next scene will reveal it's Sean Pertwee.
Yep.
They play it like, who's this guy? It's him. Great.
We get eventually, or pretty quickly, we get the whole thing about everyone involved with the expedition, except for Burke, who died. They're all like, yeah, it's a shame about Cortez. He lost his mind.
That guy really went crazy, am I right?
Yeah.
What a loon.
So that's set up pretty quickly.
And this is also, because once again, this is kind of a detective movie. We got Jason Scott Lee going, what is this? And he holds up, it's like, seems to be a gauze or bandage of some sort. And what's that smell?
He goes, you smell this? He goes, yeah, it smells like spices.
Once again, tough to make scenes like this work when we just know what it is.
Yeah.
I always think that about these movies. It's like, it's really hard to like lay seeds of people finding clues when we as an audience is going, oh, it's a mummy. I know what it is. Like, you can make a police procedural. Jesus.
You're going to be okay.
You can make like a detective movie where they put the pieces together and it comes out and it is a monster. But when we're literally seeing the monster going place to place, doing stuff, pretty boring to watch them pick up evidence.
It's just a thing where, and this happens in a lot of monster movies or supernatural movies or whatever, that they're trying to say, you, the audience, knows.
Yeah.
But we're going to watch these people somehow come to terms with something unbelievable. But you guys believe it because you've already seen the mummy rise. Now, for some reason, it's fun to see people struggle for 40 minutes going, but it can't be a mummy.
And I feel like time and time again, we have complained about that in these movies, right?
Of course.
I will say the thing about this movie, too, is like my complaints about it are not unique to this movie, which I think puts it in sort of where this is not like a bottom tier movie for us. It's like, no, this is bad like a lot of monster movies are bad.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of smack in the probably lower middle of the movies we've covered.
Do we know what the mummy took from that elevator lady?
I don't know, but I love his next kill is my favorite, which is when he skitters through a dance club and pulls a guy into a toilet.
Oh my god! and talk about it. Talking about an effect.
I could right now go into After Effects and make that look better, and I don't even know what I'm doing really.
No,
but I have a basic understanding of what the animation they're trying to achieve is.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's so bad. And also,
it's a ravish gay club, and you got this guy going like, "I need to go take a leak," and goes in the bathroom,
and he's doing.
And there's
talk about
music.
You talk about Sam Raimi. We're following the skittering rat.
Yep, yeah,
all
the
over
wrappings,
the floor.
and sometimes the wrappings are practical when they're real close, and you can. It's like, oh, they just somehow took out the wires that are pulling it across the floor.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, he goes into one of the stalls, and the wrappings grab him when he's at the trough, and then pull him into the stall.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, and the wrappings are covering them up, and then
why all the stuff toilet. They cut this. Just have him grab the guy. He gets pulled. How does this even make sense?
No, not even in a magic way. This is like Santa coming down the chimney. It's like if you want him to be bodily forced into something that's very, very small, then go ahead and make it a fountain of gore and maybe limbs fly off. Like physically, that wouldn't work anyway. You would get core of the person, not the full body. There's no way it would fit in there.
It's the same animation, except for the effect is actually better in the Tim Allen Santa Claus movie when he goes into the little pipe in the house. It's actually better than this.
I've never seen the Santa Claus movies.
They're pretty good. I mean, I'm not here to say that.
I've never seen them.
They're totally fun, but I'm saying, like, there's a scene in that movie where he goes like, oh, how do I get into a house if there's no chimney? And there's just a little pipe, and you see Tim Allen get squeezed down into it, and that's a couple years before this. And it's a goofy comedy effect, but it looks better than this shit.
It would have to.
Anything would.
This looks so bad in a comical way.
That's the thing is not
Russell
only
Mulcahy is not trying to be funny.
No, and that's the thing is it's one of those things where it's like, but how? You have to know this is dumb. Even forget the effect. This is so stupid. A guy gets pulled into a toilet. That's goofy.
I'm not putting that in the final.
No, that should not be in the movie. That should not be in the film. I laughed not in a good way at this.
No, it is embarrassingly bad.
Because I don't think any of this movie is trying to be funny.
No,
it's deadly serious.
A guy gets sucked into a toilet.
I'm just trying to think, could any movie make that serious? I don't think it could. We've seen other toilet attacks. There are plenty of other toilet attacks and other, That's
something I really like to talk about. But yes, we've seen other toilet attacks.
Isn't there one? I feel like I have a memory of one of the Critters movies doing most of the time it's a monster coming out of the toilet and attacking.
If you're doing something that is something like a Critters or whatever,
that's
okay.
That's what I mean, or a Gremlins or something like that, where it does have it's a
cartoon horror movie.
I'm supposed to be here going, holy shit, that guy got sucked in a toilet, man. I'm terrified. Oh, I do like the poll quote on the home video poster here: scary and original. We'll take scary off, and I will say some original ideas is what I'll go with.
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
Like there's a couple original ideas. And by the way, not a lot of people I do not have user reviews of people really raving about this. There's not a lot of
What?
No, there's not a lot of man, Tale of the Mummy is an underrated gem.
I have seen a lot that are saying I did see a lot that were saying that it was underrated and unjustly forgotten.
Yes, but they're all still 6s or 7s stars.
Yeah.
There's very few people who are, oh, wait, no. Okay, here's a psychopath. All right, we'll get to him in a second. There's one nut job who likes this movie a lot. Pertwee shows up at the doctor, Lisette Anthony. He shows up.
And she's like, wow, I haven't seen you in a long time. Are you still crazy? And he's like, I was never crazy. She goes, yep, that's something a crazy
I don't know. Look at my head. Do I seem crazy?
Oh, yeah. That's the thing is he has shaved his head apparently since the expedition and has had tattooed on his head the astrological map or the astronomical map from the tomb on his head. And that's pretty kick-ass, man.
It's hardcore. You are committing to this at that point.
Yeah.
But he's the one going.
He's like, I'm the only one who can see the truth, man.
We talked about but like a lot of the characters have to, grapple with this. But it's Lisette Anthony who has all the like, no way, man. I'm a doctor. There's no mummy. You're really crazy, Sean Pertwee.
She's the one that will be the skeptic right up until she sees a corpse levitate into midair and right on the ceiling.
But then she's also in on the whole thing.
Well, gets turned.
We'll talk about the end of the movie. The end of the movie is I don't follow a lot of it.
No,
it's real gobbledygook down the stretch. But anyway, because he's going, we have just 3 days to stop the mummy.
Because the alignment's coming.
This is the other thing too. I thought is like, goddamn, Sean Pertwee, you're a good enough actor. I don't believe this shit, but I at least believe he believes it. That's how good an actor Pertwee is. He is selling me that he is really invested in this.
Yes,
and that's the thing where I'm going. But I'm also going. Poor Sean Pertwee has all the like gobbledygook dialogue in this. It's all like, in 3 days, the reincarnated bodies of the things.
But in a way, as an actor, this is the part you would want.
Oh, God,
because you're going to be unforgettable. You get to go big.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or Gerard Butler and just die right off the bat. Was I in that? I don't remember being in that. I now badly want to get an interview with Gerard Butler and go, so tell me about your experience on Tale of the Mummy.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Get out.
I never made such a movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we'll switch to a better conversation. Let's talk about your singing lessons on Phantom of the Opera.
Ooh.
We'll have comments about that. He actually is pretty funny about talking about that. But so we're following this, and we're following the investigation of the murders now.
Mm-hmm.
And how does Jason Scott Lee eventually leads to finding Turkel, right? Because then she leads them to Pertwee, and that's where they get in the fight with him at his apartment. And we'll talk about his apartment, which I also found hilarious.
I did too. She doesn't get visited by him immediately. Unlike the doctor, she got the weird facts. The weird facts, which I absolutely loved, from Pertwee.
Mm-hmm.
It is clearly written by someone in the graphics department.
Yes.
Because it's someone with a Sharpie.
Yes.
And it's meant to be like crazy person scrawl,
mm-hmm.
but it's too well done crazy person scrawl.
Yes,
it's just like those professionally done protest signs you see in movies where you're like, that's not normal people protest signs. So anyway, it's got crazy person scrawl, and then you cut to the hospital where the doctor's about to meet Pertwee or see him again.
Yeah.
And she's given messages that he's been calling her, and this is Lisette Anthony's character.
Yeah, right.
The messages are handed to her by a nurse in the hospital she works with.
Yeah.
And the handwriting on the Post-it notes about the phone calls is the same handwriting.
Oh, shit. You were really paying attention to some details in this thing that I wasn't.
No, only because it literally jumped out.
That's terrible. That's really bad. And
especially when they put them back to back.
Yeah.
Like when you have a 1948 segment and then you're seeing 1961.
No, I mean,
you had the facts, and then you're in the hospital, and she goes, he's been leaving you these messages, but this is supposed to be the nurse's handwriting.
Yeah.
And it looks like the crazy person's handwriting in the same Sharpie.
We're not often this hard on the props department, but boy, did they fuck up on this one.
They really fucked up. And Mulcahy was like,
whatever, man. So they go. The other thing I love about Pertwee's apartment is he's filled it with sand. This guy, somewhere in England, he's just buying
he has
big
made
bags of sand, though. I just love the idea of him. I want a scene of him carrying a big bag of sand into his apartment.
He has made a diorama of the expedition site.
Yes.
Like with little toys and stuff, but real sand that the cop leans down, picks up, is like, Jesus Christ. And then you got the stuff all over the walls.
If you've ever seen the behind the scenes documentaries on Raiders of the Lost Ark, he's made the dioramas Spielberg used to figure out those action scenes.
Yep.
It
And
looks
that's
exactly
just
like
sitting there.
this. He's just it
That's
just
just
makes me think he's just going through there with a truck going, and then he comes in, he's going,
I'm Jerry Butler. He's doing that with a little Jerry Butler figure. Yeah, it's adorable.
yeah.
So this is somebody's idea of what a crazy mystic
But yeah, that's the
visionary's
thing
apartment
is,
would be.
it's very calculated crazy. He's it's so well put
It's
together.
performative crazy, which is one of the problems I have with Jokers every now and then.
Sure.
Especially performative Jared Leto
Yeah. Sure.
Joker, when it's like, oh, I have to convince people I'm crazy by writing I'm crazy on my body. Great.
Right. Yeah. It does. So
Real crazy people don't do that.
yeah. So they come in there, and then of course, he knocks out Jack Davenport, gets in a little tussle with Jason Scott Lee. They make a point of, and this confused me because Polito shattered earlier. They make a point of showing a ceramic figure smash, and I thought, oh my god, did Jack Davenport get shattered too? No, it's just a weird cut, and I don't know what the point of it was.
Well, no, the thing is that the it's not clear enough, but they're talking about Sam Turkle.
Yeah.
And then they show that Crazy Cortez, which is now his name.
You know me, man. Coming into the what is this? Coming into the ring. It's Crazy Cortez.
He has sculpted a head of the princess that the dark mystic Egyptian guy. So he has made a bust of the Egyptian princess in clay.
Yes.
That is supposed to look like Sam Turkle.
Because
So-
but that whole thing's a red herring, right? Because
I know
she's
that whole
not
thing's a red
the
herring.
princess.
But that's what gets because I think the cop goes, look familiar to you, and he's like, yeah, and I'm like, kinda. It looks
By the way,
close.
can we get one fucking mummy movie that doesn't have someone's reincarnated princess?
No, because
We
reincarnation
just-
actually is central to a lot of
What,
Egyptian
but
mythology.
Well, it is, but it's
Sorry,
always
buddy.
no, but it's always the same thing. It's doing
Well, it's always
the
a
love
priest
of the thing, the priest and the princess.
who breaks the rules because he's
Yeah.
in love with somebody. Yeah, it's always the same story.
It is always the same thing.
Fight for love and glory.
Yeah,
a case of
I mean, but it almost just feels like everybody still is ripping off that. The Stoker story, right?
Yeah.
It all goes back to that. That's just like
By the
that's
way,
the
did
one.
you also get jerked over by Roku?
I didn't watch this on Roku. No, what happened to you?
Well, when I went looking for it, the only free option was on Roku.
Sorry. Yes, same thing did happen to me. Now that
because it's Tale of the Mummy, and it even lists 1998, and
Yeah.
it tells the blog line. Then you start it, and it's a mummy documentary that's only 45 minutes long.
Sorry,
with
I
Chris
did.
Burley as the host.
I did.
And I was like, what?
Yeah, that did
I was
happen
like,
to me.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to pay $3 to rent this.
Okay,
and
then
I
we
did.
had the exact same experience. I have to say, I didn't watch it. No, that's right, because it's not actually on Roku. I hate that. It's the same thing when I went looking for the Argento Phantom of the Opera. Remember, and we were talking about oh, good, it's on the Roku channel. No, it was the silent Lon Chaney one, but for some reason, it still had the info for the D'Argento one.
They need to
Roku, get your ass
better
together.
Organization.
Get
stuff.
your shit together, Roku.
Damn, you came hard for those motherfuckers.
And they're a sponsor. No, but that's how much I care. I will lose their
Campbell
money.
Jones Meet the Monsters brought to you by Roku. You need free TV? They got free TV.
Here's the thing. By the way, if anyone was done, I think Shudder's a little too big for us, but I've been seeing this other new streaming horror thing called Screambox. I think they are right up our alley to be sponsors.
All right, you book it.
Folks, Screambox. It's
and I will hold on to the money.
Yeah. I'm just going to hold this money for you if you.
It's going to go right up into my nose.
Yeah, man.
That's
we
where it
always
all
know.
goes.
That's the thing. Thank God we're not sponsored, or else you'd be a huge cokehead.
If you were to break into my apartment, it's not a diorama made of sand, it's cocaine.
You're just reenacting the end of Scarface.
It's me like going, oh no, these are the Aspen Mountains. It's a ski run.
Look at this,
ski
man.
run.
I'm reenacting the end of Hot Dog the movie. See, I just gotta.
This is Better Off Dead. See, this
was why this guy only has one ski. Cause here's a little Curtis Armstrong looking at him with binoculars. All right. Okay. Let's. It does feel like this is kind of how this movie goes. Like, it's about time for another mummy attack right now, isn't it?
Actually, it is fairly timed out.
It
that
is
way.
sort of like,
oh,
did Joel
okay.
Silver produce this? Because the whole Joel Silver rule about every 10 pages there needs to be an action beat. I will say that makes his movies entertaining. I don't know if they're good, but I will say Joel Silver movies rarely drag.
Hey, Lethal Weapon.
Great movie. So the wrappings. Oh yeah, so the wrappings come after a guy now. Because it's not really the mummy; it is just loose wrappings chasing people around.
Every now and then, it will form into a spidery-looking shape.
Well, and here,
but it actually is paced out to where that's gradual. Like originally, it is just wrappings, and then starts to kind of
the idea basically is this guy is reassembling himself with these organs that he's taking from people, right? That's the whole sort of
taking the organs that were taken out of him.
Yeah,
and he's taking them from reincarnated.
It's a little sweaty.
Yeah, it's a little sweaty. And the cops could never piece that together. That comes later. They're like, "Oh, that's according to the legend," and Pertwee's telling him, "No, that's how he's getting his lungs or whatever. He's getting his back. Back."
One of the problems is that the people in the movie that he's killing aren't characters we know. Up to a point.
Until late in the day.
But like, here's just like we saw the woman in the apartment. Now here's just a guy going to his car. A guy off screen who was a senator. Like that's the thing. Right? He's going. So here's a guy who gets in his car, and he gets away from the thing. And this is where it goes full Sandman on him and turns into a fist made of wrappings and punches through the windshield of his car and yanks him out.
Best scene in the movie.
This guy also has a gun, which is insane. This is a thing that I heard Danny Boyle talking about this when he made Shallow Grave. He goes, I didn't want anyone to have guns because people don't really have guns in England. And I was thinking about this when I was watching this, where it's just like, oh, this guy just pulls out a gun, which would be super illegal and pretty rare in England, that this guy would just have like a 9mm on him.
It's true, but they even address that. There are parts where it seems like
you paid more attention to this movie than I did, because I did not catch that. They explain why this guy has a gun?
No, they don't explain why this guy has a gun.
They explain the shotgun later.
They do address the cultural difference, because when they're about to break into the guy's apartment, they do have the jacket. Jason,
he pulls his.
He's got the gun out, and the British guy looks at him like, "Come on, man." But like, we don't do that.
Well, then that just further explains why this is stupid, though, because this guy just casually pulls a piece.
No, I know, but at least it's not them not being aware. So it is weird. This guy has
but it's just
gun.
So they can do the stupid thing of him going bam, bam, bam. The gun's empty and it's still coming.
Bullets don't affect the wrappings.
Why would they? Number one, this isn't even a case where it looks like a figure. It's just wrappings floating around. Why would your bullets do anything, man? Anyway,
because they're still physical and bullets should go through them.
Anyway, he's. Oh, and also at this point, we get as he's shooting, we see the wrapping skitter up onto the ceiling, so it drops down on this guy. Oh man! Oh man!
You're not ready.
So now we cut back to a research scene that's also supposed to be flirty, where Turkle and Jason Scott Lee are looking at. She's explaining, well, this is what the cult believed about this guy and his organs, and this is where we get the backstory of how this guy rose up and started this cult. I think people are getting it. I really was not paying attention, I think, to this movie very much.
Essentially,
because his backstory is sort of classic, like he challenged the pharaoh, right, and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is only slightly different in the fact that it's not like he was an established priest.
Yeah,
he was a dark magician who actually started his own cult.
Yeah,
and was essentially he purposefully mummified himself because he saw this way of challenging the gods in the future.
Well, they were gonna kill him, and they talked about. He said, "Well, if he was gonna be sentenced to death, he was gonna go out on his terms or whatever." Right?
And they also do a psych out because they're making it seem like it's another requited love story between him and the princess. At the end of it, we find out that the princess was trying to block him from doing this, and so it was non-consensual on her part or something. I don't know. It's confusing. So it's not a great love story. But whatever.
No, but that's the other thing too, is they really want to set up this twist, but by doing it, they have to be vague about stuff to the point that it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
And I think that's what started to confuse me. And then for no reason, Shelley Duvall comes into this movie. Why is she in this?
Well, I don't know. Because here's the thing.
And talk about being wasted. Jesus.
I know. The character, you sit there going, well, that character would make sense if we lost Pertwee earlier.
Right.
Because you need a mystic character.
Right.
Now, suddenly we have 2 mystic characters.
Yeah.
She is a holistic, like, spiritual advisor that crazy Cortez went to when he went nuts.
It's crazy Cortez.
And she believes him because she's also psychic. So she knows that he is legit connected to all of this psychic hubbub. So anyway, when they broke into his apartment,
oh my God, Shelley Duvall.
When they break into his apartment and have the fight, which I thought was very funny, by the way, because Pertwee gets the jump on them, and you're right that you've got British guy goes down first, then American guy who's a better fighter, but he still goes down.
He gets a couple shots in, but like he gets overpowered or whatever. Yeah,
he gets overpowered, and the guy and Pertwee runs out. But what I love is that he's not knocked unconscious. It's just the American cop goes, "Oh, he's gone now,"
and it's just so he can have a cut on his head later. And
you're also sitting there going, "Yeah, he's gone, but he's only about 10 feet down the hallway. I think you could probably catch up to him."
This happens. Oh boy, this is a frequent action shelf problem. There's always a thing where it's like he's gone. You're like, well, no, go after him. No, he's gone. He's gone. We'll have to find him later.
In the night.
And it is just basically people going like,
he's waiting on the elevator down the hall. He's literally
I can see him. But he does get a cut on his head from that, so you can have Turkel go, what happened? And she touched him and was like, ooh.
I mean, the thing is supposed to be I don't remember exactly what point in the movie they first meet, but the whole thing is that when Turkel and Lee meet Riley, the cop, Jesus, when they meet, it's supposed to be instant. Like she's like, Jesus Christ, I know that my fiance fell to his death only a few months ago.
What about me? What about baby Butler?
What am I supposed to be in grief all this time? No, I want me some of that.
What about the ghost of King Leonidas? Come on.
But he's giving nothing as an actor, so
he can't. He's
a handsome guy, but he's sitting there going,
it's just this is too much to ask of Jason Scott Lee, who really I mean, this was sort of the end of his career a little bit, or at least like his run of being a potential leading man. It is that thing we talk about where it's like this guy had some skills, but talent does win out, and you just don't want to watch him like carry
a very handsome man who can do some very physical cool stuff, but has almost no discernible personality.
Oh, but he's gonna stick with Dimension, man, because we get him. We'll lose Gerard Butler, but the sequels to those, it's Jason Scott Lee, man. He is all over those Dracula sequels. So get ready for way more Jason Scott Lee we're going to talk about on this show.
I can't wait, John.
Oh, God, and he did a straight-to-video Time Cop sequel. That makes sense.
So anyway, this is the scene where they are kind of doing a weird flirt over exposition dump.
Because Pertwee goes to Shelley Duvall, and he's got a gun, and he's going to kill himself, maybe? What is this?
I'm not exactly sure what he thinks killing himself will do.
Because then his plan becomes, I have to kill Turkel, because he wants the heart. He thinks the mummy needs... The final piece of the mummy's resurrection
piece that he can resurrect himself is the heart.
The reincarnated heart of the princess, which must be in Turkel. And why do they think that? Just because she's also a lady?
I don't know. His visions are indicating that she's connected somehow. And she is connected somehow, but mainly as a red herring.
I know. That's the thing. It's just like they want to do this red herring, which is fine, but I never understand why the mummy is going after her at all then. And kidnaps her so he can, because I mean,
there is some weird connection between the Turkel family, thanks to Granddad and now her.
That's all it is. There's some loose tendrils of something or other, it's not the movie. Oh, this is a bad script. Well, actually, I don't know, because once again, who knows what got cut out. Too.
Yeah,
it's still probably not a good script, but maybe it made more sense.
Maybe.
So
I'm willing to give it that. Maybe it made more sense.
I think,
I
yeah.
don't think it would have been a better
Oh,
movie.
so he's got a crazy magic crystal with Shelley Duvall too that tells him where Turkel is.
I don't remember the magic crystal.
Yeah, they like grab onto this crystal and it glows, and he's like, "She's over there."
You know what? I might have been in the kitchen getting somewhere.
You and I both slept on a few parts of this movie, but they're different parts, luckily. So yeah, because that's how he's gonna. Oh God.
I mean, I do remember him showing up there because that's her introduction, and it is like, oh my God, Shelley Duvall. And I love there is a Texan psychic living in London. I mean, I do kind of like the idea.
Yeah,
of her being in London, like going, "Hi, everybody! Listen, here's the thing.
We need more Shelley Duvall in it. I mean, Shelley Duvall's great.
These visions are true."
Yeah, I mean, once again, she's great. I'll watch any of those Altman movies. She's amazing. I got nothing but love for that. This is requiring. I'm glad she's like better coming now back. Or whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's good for her, man. Mm-hmm. She went through some tough times.
Good for all of us.
Good for all of us. Very talented lady. She's neither good nor bad. I mean, she's not bad. She's just in this movie.
No, and the character, as you pointed out, I mean, doesn't need to be here. You have Pertwee. You've got the crazy visionary guy.
Yeah, just
now. True, he's going to die coming up here.
Well, maybe that's the thing is maybe lose Shelley Duvall and then don't have him die, and just have him continue to. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, can we talk about the mummy wrappings grabbing this blind guy's dog?
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing: is that I guess the reason the cops are after Crazy Cortez is that they think he's the serial killer. They think he is literally the one killing these people.
Well, I mean, he's nuts. He's not doing himself any favors with the head tattoo and stuff.
I know. So, but the thing is, he is actually seemingly always showing up at these places late, because he's actually kind of trying to track the mummy's resurrected body part people too. So he runs down into the tube, the subway, because he's convinced that this blind dude he thinks is the one that the mummy's coming for the eyes. And then he gets duped because it turns out that the mummy is really after the blind guy's dog. And later they say, yeah, we're not saying that all these reincarnated parts had to end up in a person. Oh, that's a good twist. But anyway, the wrappings go after the blind man's dog.
And as much as I've never seen that before, but that's always one of those things I go to. It's like, okay, yeah, well, no movie's ever done that. It doesn't mean you should do it.
Right. But basically the blind man's like, what's happening to my dog? What's going on? And crazy dude runs up, is like going, oh my God. Da, da, da. And then the blind man's like, what did you do to my dog? And then starts screaming at him as if he is the one who just
and then he's like, I gotta get out of here, man.
And then he just runs. And again, it's like, we've got him on videotape. He was there. This dude's nuts, killing blind men's dogs. What the fuck, movie?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, Turkel shows up now, Crazy Cortez shows up at Turkel's, and he's like, hey, look, I know we're friends and I like you, but I've got to shoot you in the heart. That's got to happen. And also, he just has a gun in London somehow, too.
You can get them. Hey, man, criminals are going to find guns.
You can, but I mean, let's say it's a big deal to get a gun, like, especially to get like a handgun. You really have to work to get it.
Spoken like a true woke social justice warrior. Yeah, we should all just go to England where no one dies by guns. Okay, John.
The only thing that did is later the old guy in the apartment has a double-barrel shotgun, and because I've looked at I'm going like, yeah, you actually can get a license for those because it's a hunting weapon. So, okay.
But really, the only reason he has one is so that Russell Mulcahy can do his visual tribute to the poster of the Mummy.
Yeah.
With Christopher Lee.
Which is an infinitely better movie than this.
But I did appreciate that. I was like,
I did too. Well, because that's
a nod to the Mummy.
Well,
movie
it's also kind of like, oh, that's what we want to see in a Mummy movie, like that.
Yeah, an actual mummy that's coming for somebody, and then gets a whole blast.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, we'll talk about
because by that point he's kind of a traditional mummy.
And and when we get to Stephen Sommers in a couple weeks, there's a lot of holes getting shot in mummies. Sure, and it's great. So he but don't worry.
This is the thing.
Jason Scott Lee comes in and stops him from shooting.
he goes, look, I'm so sorry. He goes, I don't want to, but it's the only way to stop the evil plan is for me to kill you so he
Yeah.
can't get your heart.
I'm just
And he goes, but don't worry, I'll be right after you. I did find that guy because
Yeah.
virtually he goes, don't worry, I'll be right after
Yeah.
you. I'm like, ooh, boy.
and maybe
So the idea
maybe
is
you can
kill her
see
and then kill himself.
maybe you can see Burke while you're at it. Also,
Yeah.
though, this implies. I mean, your feelings about death would be interesting if you, at least according to this guy, like knew for a fact reincarnation was real.
He believes it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm just saying, like, yeah. So it would just be like, whatever, man. I'll shoot you and shoot me. We'll just come back. It'll be fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, ain't nothing but a thing.
That was a weird line in the movie, I thought too.
Well, no, I misquoted, paraphrased. He
Mhm.
actually says, "Ain't no thing but a chicken wang," and
Yeah.
I thought, what a strange line for Sean Pertwee to be saying.
Yeah, really felt out of character for
it really did.
truly an insane character, but still like some grounding in his use
He's
of words.
British. It's 1998. It
Yeah.
seems weird that he would be saying "ain't no thing but a chicken wang."
Mm-hmm. So anyway, yeah, Jason Scott Lee shows up, arrests him. Now because we're back to our Law and Order show, we got to get this guy, put him in the box, man. Let's get him talking.
Yeah,
And so we got,
and you know what? Maybe we'll have to punch him a few times.
all right, you're gonna tell us, you sick fuck, what are you doing out there? Yeah.
Killing dogs,
Oh, you bastard.
trying to shoot your
You
cute
bastard.
blonde friend.
Yeah, that's right. Now we turn Franz on him, right? Now it's time. That's right, pal.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna snap a chair. I'm a cop on the edge.
Oh, and still we get Jason Scott Lee being pretty flat.
Going, what are you doing, man, with this? You're doing some stuff.
You're crazy, man. Why are you trying to hurt Sam?
And
She
then
never
I
hurt
feel
you.
like 3 times I wrote down the note tells backstory because people, by the time Pertwee's going, he has to find the reincarnate. I'm going, I think I get it, man.
Yeah, literally, we had a visual aid in the scene with Sam and Riley because she has this computer display on a very 1998 computer.
Oh, yeah.
But he's literally dragging and dropping like there's a graphic of an Anubis figure on the screen, and she's like grabbing the heart and dragging it over and popping it in, and she goes,
See?
and the final piece he'll need, and Jason Scott Lee looks at her like it's a big revelation. She goes, is the heart. Yeah,
Man.
yeah, that's what she just clicked on and
Oh,
dragged.
every time this thing tries to be a detective movie, I'm just like,
Heart.
oh, God.
That's what he'll need next.
Of course. How could I know?
And you're also going, and that's also a labored way to have two characters who are I guess about to do it, express their love is like going, yes, what he needs is the heart.
So I love that it's just like Jason Scott Lee is like, well, you got it from here, Jack Davenport. So I'm just gonna pop out for a second because he's got to go run. He promised Turkel he'd bring her back her grandfather's journal because it means so much to her. So he just goes, you take over, Davenport. I'm gonna go run an errand. And then of course, as soon as Jason Scott Lee leaves, in comes the mummy through the air vent. Just
immediately
unceremoniously kills Jack Davenport by smashing him into the ceiling.
It's actually a pretty good shot. I mean,
it's fine.
Again, there's things really going money and effects. If they had been there, that could have been effective.
I didn't think we needed a. It's interesting for as much as they cut out the stuff that's in here. Did we need an autopsy scene though, where it's explained that he died because his head got smashed into the ceiling?
No.
What was that about?
I want to set up him being. Oh wait, are you talking about Pertwee or Davenport?
Davenport. It's where Jason Scott Lee comes in. They go, yeah, see, his neck got snapped because he got jammed up into a ceiling.
Oh, but I thought we see Pertwee's body because that's
we
the one they end
do
up
see
stealing.
Pertwee's body, but they're explaining that his neck got smashed because he got crunched into a ceiling, basically.
Well, we just needed to establish a morgue because later they will steal the body bag with Pertwee in it.
Yeah, which is also like
great.
You know, it would have been better if he just stayed alive and could just tell them stuff.
Yeah, that's true, but then you'd miss out on a scene where he jerks around as a
that's where I really felt bad.
Corpse.
That's where I really felt bad for Pertwee because he's obviously just has to spend a whole day strung up on wires,
on
going
some sort of rig or wires,
and you're just like, Jesus. Man,
Yep.
that's
Quick, put a magic marker in his hand.
You
He's
see
gonna
stuff
tell us
like
something.
you see stuff like that, and I go, I don't really have the impulse to be an actor where I'll just take anything because I'm like, I wouldn't do that, and I just don't care. So anyway, yeah, he
I like
kills
the idea of you looking at Russell Mulcahy and going, "Nope,
Sorry, Mulcahy, gonna have to pass.
time for the body double."
Hey man, we've seen some action shelf movies where it's pretty clear a lot of the movie is somebody going, yeah, just put Burt Reynolds really didn't do shit. and especially
post 1982, why was he gonna do anything?
Burt Reynolds won't even run in some of the movies. Like even if the character's just running, he's like, nope, have the stunt guy do it. Put my hairpiece on him and let's go. All right, so so he brings her back the journal we talked about, but then they see on the news that Sean Pertwee has been killed in the police station.
Yes,
and they see that on the news, and she's like, oh no. And he's like, I gotta go. She's like, wait, if you're gonna go, take this protective necklace so the mummy won't get you.
Yep.
And then they kiss, and I went, okay, I guess that was inevitable, but I don't feel it.
No, you never do.
Even the kiss isn't like hot. There's still no chemistry even in the kiss. You're like,
there's no chemistry.
Yeah, these people.
She's an attractive lady who I think is a decent actor.
Yeah.
And he's an attractive man who is a piece of wood. There is no give and take.
Man, though, yeah, man, the action chef has taught me to rank guys even by pieces of wood because I think I think
he's a fine mahogany.
Well, I'm saying, like, he's a piece of wood, but he's a better piece of wood than Seagal or Robert Bronzy, but not as watchable a piece of wood as Chuck Norris.
No. There are levels of pieces of wood.
They're all wood as hell, man, but there's different levels of how much wood
you are absolutely correct. I'm glad you brought that up. And I can't wait for you to publish an actual graph or some sort of chart.
The book that Listman and I will write out of the action shelf will be really weird.
Oh,
we could definitely write. We've learned a lot from watching those movies. I
get a free copy, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to pay shipping and handling, but beyond that.
Shit.
Hey, that ain't free, man.
You're breaking me.
I like the idea of like, couldn't you just give it to me? No, we have to send it. It's a legal thing. We got to send it to the mail, and you got to pay for that. So he runs off. Now he's got his protective necklace, and of course, this is so dumb. He had left the interrogation. The mummy showed up to come here. Then he goes back to the police station. What do you know? Now the mummy's at the apartment that he just left.
It's like the mummy is just watching him do his things and is like going,
the mummy.
I'm just waiting until he goes.
But spoiler, the mummy wants him.
Yeah, but
that doesn't make any sense.
Maybe there's a plan.
I love the idea that the explanation of this movie might just be, who knows what's going on in a mummy's head. It probably makes sense to him. We just never understand.
The thing is we're not ancient Egyptian dark magicians. We just don't know.
Yeah, man. It's just like, this guy's playing 3D chess we'd never be able to comprehend.
Oh, God. King to Queen's level 3, motherfucker.
God, okay. Yeah, so this is where we get her getting attacked by the mummy. Mm-hmm. Do we get the old guy with the shotgun? Yeah, she just fucking, by the way, gets both of her old neighbors murdered. We get the old couple next door get murdered.
She sees it coming into her apartment, and for some reason also, I think this is hilarious, she's the only person in this movie that can outrun it, apparently, even though it's only for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, of course, because she's the heroine, I guess, because it had no problem grabbing anybody else, even the dude in the car. No, she runs down the hallway.
It's got to get a little trickier with her, as we'll find out.
And you basically see the wrappings like kind of snap their fingers going, damn, she's fast. But yeah, she runs to a neighbor's apartment. They let her in. It's like, you're having problems? And then the old lady in the apartment's like going, I'm sick of this. I'll go talk to whoever's bothering you. Yeah. And she goes, don't open the door.
I love the idea of going in a mummy movie going like, some of us are trying to sleep here.
I'm going to have such a mean set of words for your mummy friend.
Quick,
But she dies.
get me my
instantly, and then
umbrella
the
to
old
wrap
man
him on the
pulls-
head. Yeah.
Old
Yeah.
man pulls the gun.
Blows the hole in him. It's kind of the only cool thing in the movie, really, is like, oh yeah, that's the mummy thing I want. It's kind of the only thing I can say too, that like, I guess K and B did that. That looked all right. It was an actual
Sure.
practical effect.
Yeah, at this point, instead of being like a spidery thing, he's the mummy has gotten now to looking like a mummy.
But
he's
another
like a 12-foot tall mummy. He's
I don't
enormous.
understand that. But it's another where the idea is good. The idea that he's reforming his body so he looks more human as the movie goes forward is a cool idea. It's one, I guess.
You're saying it doesn't work.
It doesn't work because the effects are bad, but I'm saying like the idea that he's just sort of like a spirit who's gaining piece by piece his body is a cool concept.
Yeah, there are great concepts all through this.
Summers will obviously do the thing where he's reforming from a decomposed corpse when we get to that, which is also cool and looks better. So they. But she escapes while he's busy fighting. But then, while he's busy murdering this old couple, and he loves to snap a neck. Oh, this mummy snaps so many necks in this movie.
He's a neck snapper,
which is always kind of a bummer to me, just because. And we've talked about this with like the Universal movies, and I understand some of it is the effects thing, right? But it is just
keep waiting for a mummy to pick up a machete and go to town on people, and I keep telling you, not gonna happen.
I keep waiting for a supernatural creature to kill people in a supernatural way. Like, I want him to, like, pull the life force out of somebody or something. Instead, it's always just like, come here. Or, Karis was a choker, right? Like, he loved to strangle a guy. He loved to strangle somebody. And you're just going like, that's pretty lame.
Yeah.
Give him mummy powers. Once again, all roads will lead to the best mummy movie in a couple weeks. I'm sorry. It's true. And every movie is giving another reason for why it's the best.
We will see.
We have seen, and it's amazing. That movie's incredible. I love 1990.
No, I love that movie. If I would say number one, I still am dealing with Boris Karloff. I'm still dealing with
Karloff, but that movie drags, man.
It does, and it is just Dracula rehash. But
Karloff is great. Karloff is great. Zita Johann is great. There's some great moments in it. But I think if I'm going to put a mummy movie on, it's Stephen Sommers.
Oh, by the way,
all day, every day.
Apropos of nothing, but I've seen stills from the cut sections with Zita Johann's reincarnation.
Oh, really?
Stuff. Yeah, I was like, and they're there, so I'll find them and send them to you.
Absolutely.
The stuff that got cut out of the original Mummy. Anyway,
I'm excited. So this seems unnecessary too. You talk about like they don't have the effects budget, so why do this? Turkel escapes from the apartment, and she's going through this tunnel, and wouldn't you know it, a doggy comes up to her. Only it's not a doggy, and that wraps her up in the wrappings and flies her off.
Here's a really just weird beat too, because she has run into like the underground tunnel, like street tunnel.
Yeah,
and she's panicky. She's out of breath. She sits down on the pavement. A dog comes up to her. Now, okay, doggos. People love doggos. Friendly dog comes up to you. But I'm saying if your life is in jeopardy and you're panicky, even if the dog comes up and nuzzles you, you might kind of just sort of distractedly bat it away. But
hi, little friend.
The take is she's like, oh God. Dog comes up to her. She immediately grins and starts petting. I'm like, no, your life is still in jeopardy, lady. I would have no time for a dog if I thought a killer was after me.
This woman's attitude is there's always time for a dog, and the mummy counted on that.
Yeah, and then the dog does basically go, ha, got you, I was the mummy.
And then for the first time we've seen the movie, not just wraps her up, but wraps her up in the wrappings and then flies away.
Yeah.
Because it wants to kidnap her to what?
Lay the trap for the real heart.
Even though it's actively avoided him multiple times, and conceivably this thing seems to know no limits. Why can't it just grab Jason Scott Lee like it grabbed everybody else?
Because it also had to wait for the alignment of the planets.
Why?
He has a because it's part of the prophecy.
Yeah, but then he should just capture Jason Scott Lee and hold on to him until the
maybe Jason Scott Lee would have fought back too hard or been killed in it. And
You know what would have been nice? Any dialogue about this.
I know. This is me literally just going, yeah, these could be reasons.
Because the answer is the movie has to keep going. That's all it is. It's just like we just have to keep the. But so she's been taken, and now finally we get Michael Lerner back in the movie because Jason Scott Lee's like, well, I better call the guy who knows about this shit.
Years he's back in the movie.
Michael Lerner shows up and he goes, "All right, everybody, get everybody who was on that dig, and you too, Shelley Duvall. I don't know, you seem like you know what you're doing."
I mean, I don't mind a scene where it's like I'm putting the team together, kind of.
Oh yeah, but I wish this happened. Number one, a half hour sooner.
Yeah, because this doesn't make any sense how this happens.
No, and actually, even and I love Christopher Lee. What if the movie, okay, I'm always just trying to fix this, ditch the thing at the beginning and the first expedition is the expedition that kicks off the movie, and then it's about, oh no, we unleashed something, we got to get everybody back together and stop it.
That's an extremely, simplistic way to go.
It's a much more cohesive, and once again, much more, I'm just trying to streamline a movie to make sense.
Yeah, well, no, that's not what Russell was after.
Oh, I was never trying to make sense, dear boy.
I talked to Russell the other day, and he said, "Oh no, making sense. No,
British,
that's anathema. Right? That's anathema to me."
Mulcahy's a Brit, right? It seems like he's got to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Is he? Oh, Australian. He's an Aussie.
Oh,
hey, just raw, mate.
Yeah, there you go.
We're talking about the director of Evil Dead, or Resident Evil. Sorry, not Evil Dead. Resident Evil Extinction. It's kind of sad too that he just directed, one of the Resident Evil movies.
He's kept working, man.
I mean, the guy works. As we always say on the Action Shelf too, all work is good work.
Yeah, there you go.
Or at least all work is work. You know what I mean? Like
all work is work.
I can't say it's good work, but I mean it's like a working filmmaker.
You could say that all good work is work.
That's true.
Because even the good stuff still works.
But it's like we try not to get on actors for taking parts because it's a job. You need your role, but
right.
But we can get on people for being bad in movies. Although, like I said, I don't think
we do.
Jason Scott Lee is bad in this, but I think this is him doing the best he can. I don't think he's like trying.
I thought he came to play. Sure.
Yeah, it's just he just this is above him. So they get them and they go, okay, well, Shelley Duvall, and I didn't quite understand. They go, if we can tap into the spirit still inside Sean Pertwee, he can tell us where the mummy's lair is located.
Yeah.
What?
What's difficult about that?
Why didn't he tell them any of this information before?
That is, well, maybe because he discovered it right before he died.
In the police station?
I don't know, man.
That's what I mean. It's like this movie has all these ideas, but it has no interest in the connective tissue from point A to point B.
I mean, this is magic stuff. This is literally Sandman. They did that whole thing where they peel the face off the guy and nail it to the wall and then ask it questions and it has to answer.
But also, man, you're not doing this movie any favors by reminding me of anything from Sandman.
No, I know.
Good Lord. But I understand this is kind of what that wants.
This is necromancy. So essentially, he's freshly dead, which means a remnant of his soul might still be in there. So she, being psychic, meaning Shelley Duvall, should be able to, for however long, because it's probably drifting out of his body as we speak, contact him and say, where is the mummy's hideout? So, or where did they take our friend? And so they steal Pertwee's body in the body bag.
Pretty easily.
It has...
really
easily. Very easily. They take it to, I don't know, somebody's place.
That's also, once again, no connective tissue. It's like, we need the body. We got it. We'll take him somewhere. Where? It doesn't matter.
Somewhere. Doesn't matter.
Somewhere where they don't mind some drawings on the ceiling, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not. Go ahead and mark that up. So he has the, this is kind of just for gore effect, too. He's got the autopsy scars.
Yeah.
And movie, she does.
I'm surprised, this being an R-rated Dimension movie, it doesn't go harder at gore.
It's true, actually.
Here and there, but it does stuff like a guy getting pulled into the toilet. It's not like a guy getting ripped, especially for a thing where organs are being torn out of people, it's pretty light about that.
Yeah, and again, also it's just dumb.
And I honestly could not believe there was no gratuitous nudity. Really was absolutely.
We got a
shocked.
shower scene, and
no,
they
don't show anything.
They did a little tricky thing there where it was Sam gets in this shower, and then you see the silhouette, and you're like, oh, it's Sam showering. We don't see any nudity.
No.
But then when the shower curtain opens, it's like, oh, we've actually jumped somewhere else, and that silhouette we saw is actually our doctor friend, Lizette Anthony. I was like, oh,
who's
clever.
Still, as they're putting together this little seance spirit reading thing, whatever, she's going, this is dumb. This isn't going to work. That guy's fucking dead, man.
Yeah, that's literally, she's like the hard-bitten scientist.
And then, of course,
though, like,
this
is weird and gross.
Rather than other movies that have these characters have sort of a slow realization, Pertwee fucking floats up in the air, and she's just like, oh my god, everything's real, and the supernatural is here.
Yeah. Well, in this case, she literally just goes, I saw that. I actually saw that. And that happened, and I saw it.
And too bad we can't just talk to this guy's spirit. No. Instead, he's got to get a marker and go.
Well, he can't speak, but he can communicate via writing, I guess.
Yeah, and the way he does that is by...
levitation is a surprising part.
Levitation is a surprising part. The David Harbour Hellboy movie does a better thing with this, too, actually. I don't know if you caught that one.
No, I the reviews were bad. I never.
It's not awful, nor is it particularly good. Harbor's great, but they do a thing in that where like if the spirit is still in the body, it actually like comes out of the mouth. It's like a physical. It's kind of in that Sandman sort of way where it's like the mouth opens up and there's a talking spirit.
Nice.
It at least allows you to have communication. This is just tough for a movie. This is tough to watch. Just because I'm going, what is he do? And then they go, it's hieroglyphics. Well, then this, and you got Michael Lerner once again going, this directly means this to this to this.
It's even more basic than that. And I was like, watch it going like,
it's just
what?
Symbols, right?
Well, because what he sees in his vision, because we also get dead Pertwee vision, is he's seeing through her eyes.
Tale of the Mummy in dead Pertwee vision.
And she's trying to communicate with him because she knows that he's reaching out. So she focuses on where she is hanging. She's hanging from bandages.
By the way, why is his spirit able to connect to her? No, it doesn't. Yeah, never mind.
But essentially, she's allowing him to see through her eyes. So she looks at a telling piece of like a signage on the inside of this sort of wall.
Oh God, that's right. Yeah,
and this is where Mulcahy is ripping off himself, because this is similar to The Shadow with the hotel that isn't there. In this case,
which is actually one of my favorite parts of The Shadow, in that realization when Lamont Cranston is like, great bit. God. Well, because I think,
and actually it's from a Shadow story.
Sure, I mean, because it feels like I think that's kind of one of the things is, aside from the Mummy itself, like other people using magic comes into this movie so late, they're just like, wait, what? Well, why weren't you guys using magic the whole time? Like, this movie needed to have less magic or way more magic.
But he was trying to walk that line of, is Pertwee actually psychic, or is he actually the killer? Is he just a crazy guy?
And once again, that would all work if we weren't seeing the Mummy going around killing people.
Work if we did not know that there's an actual CG.
No, that's the thing. It's sort of like, we already know we're dealing with a magic threat. Why are we only in the last 15 minutes of the movie using magic against it?
But Pertwee is seeing this sign for a hotel which was going to be called the Pyramid.
Oh,
Jesus
yeah, I know.
That's why I'm saying it's real. This is so stupidly on the nose.
And this is also the thing where I'm going, man, you could make it make more sense, but this was never a good script, was it? Because that's still in there.
Yeah, that's
even if some of the connective tissue is here, there's still just dumb shit in this movie.
So Pertwee writes on the ceiling the graphic that was on the poster, and they're like, well, it's just the pyramids, and he's like, no, wait, that logo, that's from that hotel that was supposed to be built, was never finished, and was abandoned, and it was going to be called the Pyramid or whatever.
Thank God Michael Lerner remembered all that.
I know. It's like, oh, I know where that is.
Oh, I know exactly where that is. And then they just go there because this movie is just cooking through stuff. And it's just going, all right, and boom, we're there. And then I did have a thought when they're sneaking around the tunnels of this place, which, by the way, this is just the same set from earlier, slightly redressed, right?
Looks like it.
Yeah, because it's still just kind of dark tunnels. It doesn't look that different than the quote unquote pyramid that they were.
Yeah.
They were in earlier.
If this is an abandoned construction site, it looks just as rough hewn as the inside of the tomb.
It actually works better as an abandoned construction site than it worked as the tomb at the beginning. So, but they're walking around with flashlights, and it did make me think: how many movies do we see where the climax is just people kind of walking around dark tunnels? Like it's got to be what, like
56%.
It's got to be. That's, you know what? That seems about right to me, actually.
And just because this is Mulcahy, who came off, of course, music videos,
yeah,
it always cracks me up. It's just, and
I did think it was weird when Duran Duran was in those tunnels.
That was weird.
Simon Le Bon, what are you doing? Yeah.
Which wasn't even one of the videos he directed. No, I think he did "Hungry Like the Wolf," but not Rio. I don't know.
He did make some great music videos. I do think
he did.
Yeah, that was good.
The guy, especially as a visualist, he deserves a budget because that guy has some great visual ideas. But anyway,
by the way, he directed both Hungry Like the Wolf and Rio.
Actually, to tell you the truth, that the second I said that, I was like, no, they were from the same album and they would not switch directors. So
and he also directed Night Boat, Is There Something I Should Know, and Lonely in Your Nightmare for them.
Yeah, I think those are all off the same album.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I mean, let me just actually, so I don't have to keep reading these. I'll just say I think he just directed every music video of theirs. As I look through here, he seemed to do.
I think he directed every music video.
Well, he did a lot, man, and even I will say I do like this guy didn't quit his day job between all these features. He still does 4 to 5 music videos.
Yeah,
he still was going back to Elton John and Queen and. Yeah.
Well, of course, Queen, because they were Highlander soundtrack.
Well, there isn't a Highlander soundtrack. It's just a Queen album.
It's just a Queen album.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
But, so anyway, the thing I was saying is that like there's a scene in this facility that was so music video.
Yeah.
I love whenever they go somewhere, and especially if it's an underground or abandoned place, and there will be like a vent fan, like you often have, that seems to have a Klieg light on the other side.
Yes. Yeah.
And this happens and I'm like, where's the juice coming from in this abandoned facility to run that fan, and B, why is there a fucking industrial light behind?
One of the things, why don't they take, because X-Files is like in season 5 at this point. One of the things they did on that show, Rob Bowman, Kim Manners, the directors of that show who did such an amazing job, one of the things they did was they didn't light the dark scenes. They used the flashlights and then put reflective surfaces, so they were bouncing flashlight beams back at the actors, which created that eeriness, but still lets you be able to see. Here, it's just that shit. This always drives me insane in movies. What's the point of cinematography, like having a director of photography, if you're just going to blast something with light? We don't even need to worry about light sources then. Boy, movies are easy to make.
There's a lot of stylization stuff that we talked about the blue light and blowing fabric of Tony Scott. And there's a lot of things where the directors, a lot of whom came up from music videos, are like,
oh, yeah.
It's in fact, was he in that? Question this. It looks cool.
No, Mulcahy was Australian, but so he wasn't. But there was that whole era of guys who worked together in advertising and music videos. The Scott brothers and who's the other? I can't think of the other guy right now. But is it Ken? No, it's not Ken Russell. I think it was.
I think Ken Russell is from earlier than those guys.
I'll have to look. What is it? Ken Loach, maybe? Nicholas Rogue, I don't know. Anyway, it's a lot of those guys. Anyway, but yeah, there is that 80s music video commercial stuff that came out of England with that group. He's not from that, but he's definitely in that same era of that.
But it's not. Where
but the whole movie doesn't have the stylization. Like if you watch the Tony Scott movie, even The Hunger, the whole movie is stylized. This movie has moments where it's stylized and moments where it's not. And that infuriates me. If you're going to be stylized,
but it is
go
interesting
all in.
That the director is like, no one will question this.
Yeah.
Because it looks cool. And then you have people like us going, no, we watched your movie. That was
Well,
distracting.
because I do think Highlander is a movie that is highly stylized, but has a consistent stylization throughout.
Dude, the last fight is up in front of like big neon signs.
And it rules. It rules.
Yeah, it pretty much does.
I mean, the whole beginning of the movie where he's just using he was better about using source light than that when you have the parking garage, and he's using the fluorescence to light the thing, and it works.
Yep.
What are you doing, okay? What are you doing, man? I mean, it's just like...
Please call in. You're probably
I
not
do think
busy
that
right
part
now
of that is when
because-
they say this is Russell Mulcahy's Tales of the Mummy. I was watching this going, I know you're a better director than this. And I don't know where budget or time or whatever, I'm sure, but it's like, I know for a fact this guy can direct better movies.
Yeah.
So Turkel's suspended by wrappings. He's webbed her up like a spider with mummy wrappings. What is this shit? I don't like this at all.
And she's just dangling.
She's just dangling.
What is that Japanese bondage stuff?
Oh.
Shoot something?
I don't know.
Shibari, that's it.
There you go.
So, but that's what this looks like, because it's not a simple thing of, if you're going to bind somebody up, usually they end up looking like a mummy. Instead, this is like some weird artistic, like she's almost a puppet.
Yeah.
She's dangling
Feels
at
like
this
the
weird angle
feels like
where
the
an
end of a
arm is up, a
Spider-Man
leg
movie,
is
you know what
up.
I mean? It feels like the end. It's like we should find Mary Jane strung up like this in a Spider-Man movie. But we finally get our fully realized Talos, man. Oh, baby, is he terrifying.
Oh, baby, is it a horrible design.
It is a horrible design. It is horrible
But
makeup,
animatronics. What I do get out of this is we've got a villain that talks. Because
I'll give
he
you
starts
that.
monologuing like crazy.
I agree. I will give you that. That's for sure.
Even while his mouth doesn't move.
Well, I was going to
was
say,
bugging
the
the fuck out of
animatronic on the mouth or whatever, boy, that didn't match what he was saying. Even close.
And every now and then, there's full lines of dialogue, and they're not even trying.
There are
moments where they're trying.
Because it really did feel like, hey, Russell, it's not working. Oh, just shoot it. Like whatever, right? Like it's what it felt like to me. It's just like, we don't have the time or money to fix this thing that isn't working.
Or I guess here's a possibility: when they knew it was going to get chopped down so much, they're like, we can just ADR in some of the exposition.
There you go. There you go.
But
I wish I had more info, because like I've looked in a couple places and all it says is there's a half hour of the movie missing. I can't find any details about what it is. I wish because like there's even an IMDb thing about the differences between the versions. It just says 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
and you're like, okay.
It doesn't give you detail, and you're
like,
fuck,
oh man, I wish I knew. It's got to be connective stuff. It's got to just be like character scenes and stuff like that. I'm sure the mandate was like, just get to the horror shit.
Maybe it's just a really long date between Riley and Sam.
Oh, in that case, actually, maybe that's a good cut, because that would have been
then
boring.
You're like, wow, their love story is one for the ages.
Move over, Bogart and Bergman. It's all right. And so he starts monologuing about blah blah blah. Oh God, poor Shelley Duvall and Michael Lerner get attacked by CGI birds.
Yes, they do.
And then
and I was actually thinking of Schitt's Creek.
How can you not? How can you not?
She's basically using that
that's right,
medallion.
She gets the birds to stay
in the name of Ra and all this stuff, and she's
poor Shelley Duvall.
Oh my God, it's the
much
Crowaning or whatever the fuck that was from. Schitt's
I think it is the Crowaning. Yeah, God, that's so fucking funny. But the not quite to the level of a Tony Curtis, but Shelley Duvall is another person who I should not be hearing saying by the power of Ra.
Yeah, I mean, again, she's a very genuine actor, so it doesn't necessarily feel fake. It's just like you're just
weird. It's just you're just off-putting. Like, can I put Nashville back on now?
Oh, I'd rather watch Nashville.
I would rather watch any Altman movie, even the worst Altman movie. I would rather watch than this. I don't know off the top of my head. I would rather watch. Is it Brewster McCloud?
Yeah, but I kind of like Brewster McCloud.
That's probably one of his weakest, though.
It kind of is, but I love the fact that it's shot in Houston.
Yeah, but it's way better than this, because, You know, even Altman is worse is still like, this guy fucking knows what to do, man.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather watch Dr. T and the Women. There you go. That
Oh,
was one. That was a late.
that's
That was a late career. Oh man, I think he's losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Back to this,
which I think was ghost directed by Altman. Is that right? No. That's why there's all that overlapping dialogue that we couldn't understand. No,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, also the Mummy now just spits black goo at Shelley Duvall, and that does her in.
Yeah.
And Michael Lerner makes a late in the film heel turn. There's too many twists. This is where the movie just starts going crazy because suddenly everybody starts turning evil. And
the thing that's confused, well, there's a lot that's confusing, but they either turn evil because the Mummy is seducing them with promises of like, I will give you what you want, or they've always been in on it because they're reincarnated followers of Talos.
It's unclear.
And you're like, wait, okay, so I guess Michael Lerner is seduced, but the doctor has always secretly been. Because
it has to be that, right? Because like, if they both got seduced, then I'm just like, well, then this thing is, if it can just turn anyone to its side, then why did it ever bother to do anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
kind of true.
I mean, that sort of thing is just like, even Dracula's got limits on mind control, man. But yeah, the doctor, because Michael Lerner kills Shelley Duvall. And it's like, how dare you? You must kneel before the master.
Oh my God. One of my favorite lines of dialogue is this.
Yes.
So Michael Lerner is on his knees, or maybe he's on all fours because he's been dropped by something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Mummy says to him, "Rise and kneel before you."
Oh,
and
man!
All I could think is, make up your fucking mind.
By the way, like, I wasn't sure, but I did see. Yes, Michael Lerner is still alive, which makes me happy.
Oh, good, of course, yeah.
I wasn't sure, but he's got 3 movies in development or that are already shot and coming out. So
Michael Lerner,
that guy I love him, him. And I like his brother Ken Lerner too. Good character actor.
I'm glad.
I'm
glad you're not divided on the Lerners.
Both good, man. Both solid. Yeah. So, but once again, it's just how everything keeps happening so fast. Michael Lerner kills Shelley Duvall. Then all of a sudden turns around and he gets gutted by the doctor lady, by Lysetta, and you're just going like, Jesus Christ, man. It is like the movie's just going, we got to get out of here.
Even within that, there's a flippity-flu. Because you see him getting seduced, and then Shelley Duvall turns to him and is like going, oh, you were strong enough to defeat him. That's great. I'm glad that you were able to turn away from... Yeah. And he goes, yeah, I was tempted, but no. And then he's like, but now I'm killing you. Yeah. So he like psychs her out. And he goes, nope, sorry. I wanted all the things he was going to get me. And then he goes to the doctor lady. He's like going, oh, you've been seduced too? That's great. We're in on it together. And she goes, yeah, we're in on it together, except for now I'm killing you.
Yeah, that's
fuck. It is and just you were even part of the plan, but now I'm killing you.
It is just like, this movie's got to wrap up. We got to start bumping off these characters.
Don't worry, folks. They're dropping.
They're dropping because then flies. We get the showdown where Talos has got the Turkel, and J. Scott Lee's got his gun, and he's shooting at the Mummy to no effect, of course.
Yeah, now Talos, like we said, he's now in his final form, and I'm going to explain it like this. He's a rubbery-looking dude.
Oh, yeah.
Muscly, rubbery, no genitalia, but there's no clothes on him, but there's no genitalia.
Well, he never did track down the guy who got his penis, right?
I guess not. And he's got, like, backwards legs, like a horse or whatever.
Does he ever have some backwards legs, man?
And then the thing that was really bugging me was that headpiece, because the body is human shaped until you get to the legs.
Yeah.
And he's taller than a normal guy. But then you get to the head, and the head looks almost like a gray, like an alien gray.
Yeah.
But
it's got those eyes
stretched way up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so part of becoming a god apparently is getting a what is it, elephantitis? What is it called?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
So yeah, he looks stupid. And again, it's all a rubber suit, and the rubber suit really has a hard time moving that mouth, even though he is literally spouting lines of dialogue.
Well, because he is, once again, I do think there must at least be some of what you were talking about. Like, they have jammed so much expositional dialogue into this final scene.
Yeah.
It's just like, because of the thing. And then he goes, I guess you won't be getting your heart, because he just got finally, even though he loves her, he has to shoot Turkel in the heart.
Well,
he's like, there's
Sam
no other way, right?
He's still tied up, but her mouth is free.
Yeah.
And she goes, do it. So she's doing
There's
the whole,
no
I know
way.
I have to do it to stop him from ascending.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like going, I don't want to, but damn it, you're not getting that heart. So
man,
but
by the way, that line reading had way too much emotion for Jason Scott Lee to live.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to. You know?
I'm working on it, but he does kill Sam to
and he goes, now I guess you won't be getting your heart, and he's like, and Tel's like, ha ha ha, you have brought me my heart,
and he goes, what?
And it's just like, she was not the reincarnation of the princess. And what's this? Holy shit! Riley is the reincarnation of the princess with the heart.
And he has flashbacks to being a hot Egyptian lady.
And this makes no sense. And this is garbage.
And then the whole reason, apparently, that one of his underlings is reincarnated as
she had to be in on it from the beginning, right? Because she brought the scalpel to perform this and stuff.
Yes. The whole thing is like, so he goes, yeah, I needed you anyway because you know how to take that shit out. I'm like, what? That's lame.
But he's been taking shit out all through the movie.
Yeah, but this is the heart, I guess. So now Dr. Lady Lizette Anthony's like, yes, anything for you, Lord. And cuts out Riley's heart.
But, okay, but then here, this is going to make even less sense. But then he looks like Riley.
Yeah.
I don't understand. He got the heart and then transforms.
And then turns into Riley.
Because it seems like the way this plays out, it should be more like his spirit takes over. It's more of a possession. But I don't understand.
Well, I think... Oh, man, I can't even begin to figure out what happens to Riley's body because the cops find this scene after.
And there's no body there, right? They find everybody else, and she takes the rap. Like, I have been the killer all along.
Right,
they arrest her, and they go, it's the strangest thing, though. She brought a rib spreader with her. But we didn't find,
that's what she's known for.
Yeah, and you're like...
That's what she's known for.
But they didn't find a body, so... What?
Yeah.
This doesn't work at all.
Basically, this is a movie.
And this is Honor Blackman here. Honor Blackman here is our police captain who's just here to roll this all up.
She did say something earlier to.
Yeah, we saw her earlier, but it is just now here she is going like, well, I guess that's the end of the. Well,
I guess we found our evil serial killer.
She gets actually one of the worst lines because this cop goes. Well, we found out how she did all this because they found all the bodies inside because we had seen earlier that all the which also doesn't make any sense because they were finding the bodies at crime scenes, yet this guy has all the bodies.
When they were finding the bodies of the people that just got killed.
No, because when Turkel looks around, there's all these bodies that are the victims.
Oh. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe they're not the same.
Because the guy talks about it. He goes like, well, I guess they're all in there. This was where she had all the victims, and she killed these people. She goes, so we know how she did it, but the answer becomes why. And Honor Blackman goes, that's the thing about these cases. You never do know why. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, movie. Literally.
Then why are you a cop?
I was going to say, there's an what about the entire concept of criminal profiling and stuff like that? Like, there'd be a lot to look into about the why here. And she's just like, nope, lock her up. Let's never speak of it again.
Okay, so
I'm so sad because it's pussy galore.
With the villain triumphant.
I do kind of like that. I just don't care about anything.
Yeah, so the plan worked, and now Jason Scott Lee is walking around London because
and then he.
Oh boy! The last shot of the movie.
I couldn't stop laughing at this. He turns around, looks at the camera, and he had fangs, right? He had like a full monster face, and he roars like a lion.
John, I can't with the scene.
I'm a mummy. Rawr!
If you want to just like have. It'd be like, evil won, and then he's alive. He turns and looks at the camera. That's all you need. It's like, I did it.
Just get
But I think this was a studio. They're like, we need another horror scare beat. So there's this terrible CG.
Boy, even by this movie's standards, it's bad CG.
Yeah, it transforms into like a snout for half a second with upper and lower fangs.
Yeah, why?
The Mummy's never had that at any point in the movie. I mean, yeah, he was a dog at one point. But anyway,
maybe they're from the dog.
Jason Scott Lee's face goes like bearish, doggish, and goes, Rawr! And then he just turns around and walks back.
All right, there you go. There you go, folks. Jesus Christ. Well, this is a segment I do from the Action Shelf, but I'm going to do it here because I did find this of an extremely misguided IMDb review. And this is written in 1999.
But it's not by your friend, is it?
No, I wish there was a Bruce Winning review of this. If there ever is, he is not a horror guy, though. He's made that clear. So if I do ever run into one, though, for our movies, I will read.
He likes to see movies where there are interesting ways to kill people.
Well, he has started to get into not monster movies, but like slasher stuff. Because
that makes more sense.
Yeah, he likes a home invasion movie or something like that.
Sure.
All right. This is IMDb user Tin Man 5, and this, keep in mind, this is written in 1999. In summer of 99, and he is declaring, this is the title of the review, better than Brendan Fraser's. I'm absolutely surprised at all the negativity that this film is getting. My question is, what are they basing it on? Dimension Films, you made a big mistake not releasing this to theaters. You guys probably thought you could use this to cash in on the success of The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. Well, it would have been a good idea if this had anything whatsoever to do with that movie, but it's completely different and stands alone. You guys were acting foolish. I actually found this film to be much better than The Mummy. While I immensely enjoyed the summer movie, I feel that it was more of an action-adventure than a horror film. This movie goes back to the roots, pure horror, and that's what really makes it work. Then he describes the plot a little bit, and he goes, okay, first of all, how can anyone say the special effects in this movie are disappointing? They are absolutely incredible. The wrappings come to life and attack people, shaping into human form sometimes, and other times crawling on the ceiling like an overgrown spider. These are some of the finest special effects I've ever seen in a horror thriller. How in the world can anyone say these effects are bad? They are absolutely real and astounding, much more real than in the Brendan Fraser flick. And unlike
by Helen Keller.
Unlike the former film, this one doesn't use them to show off, but they actually fit into the story and are not overused. The storyline is great too. It manages to keep it down packed. I don't know what the term. It manages to keep it down packed, so it is easy to understand, and at the same time, it is very complex. There's many different angles to it. The ending is also a fine twist that nicely wraps the film up. No pun intended. Well, anyway, I shuddered, and that doesn't happen much. And then he goes on to talk about some other stuff. But anyway, he says it's worth spending 88 minutes of your time. So this man is insane.
Yep.
I love the thing where he's like, insane. Oh, sure, for like a fun, trivial summer movie, the Brendan Fraser version. But this is where the real scares are, man. I mean, it's not wrong that is more of an action-adventure movie than a horror movie. But it's not like
the point that he's right about.
But the difference is you don't then go, because this is what you really want out of a Mummy movie. No, I don't. This is awful.
The only thing I'll say for this one is that there are ideas in here.
This one is trying,
like I said,
much more than last week's movie.
Yeah. And by comparison with last week's movie.
It feels like it's been a year, man. Am I right? Movie. Jesus.
I could have used a break like that. But again, this is miles past that. But it's still not good at all.
No, and it still continues to be, as I say.
And it's got a great cast. All right, I'll also say that.
Yeah, for the most part, pretty much everybody
minus the lead.
Yeah, except for who's this? The main character is a bit of a,
other than that.
Other than that, it's great. No, and it continues to be the thing of the Mummy is the worst represented monster on this show. There's no question. Time and time again, he has the most misses of the monsters we talk about.
But at least he gets more, up to bats than Phantom or Gillman.
He does get more up to bats than those guys, and your vampires and your werewolves. I don't know if the ratio. Well, there's definitely more bad ones, but the ratio is in their favor, is what I should say.
Yeah.
And speaking of those vampires, those pesky vampires. Next week we're getting a movie that also has its author's name declared on it, because that's right, folks. It's finally time to talk about John Carpenter's vampires.
Are we allowed to talk about them? Because it seems like he has copyrighted them.
These aren't just vampires, man. These are John Carpenter's vampires, okay?
TM.
Now, I will say, going into it, I kind of like this movie. I know some people like to shit on it, but I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's pretty fun.
I saw it very late one night. I think it was actually a midnight movie at a theater I worked at.
Actually, that's kind of the perfect way to see it. It's a total midnight movie.
Yeah, but I don't remember it very well.
I enjoyed it. It's very grindhousey. It's very pulpy.
I don't mind pulp.
No, and I also think once again it will look a lot better considering the run of stuff we've done. But I think tonally it's in line with something like a From Dusk Till Dawn, where it's not trying to be anything other than grungy and gory and just like badass. So I do enjoy this movie. It does have one of my favorite cinematic vampires in it. So we'll talk about the great Thomas Ian Griffith a lot next week, who crushes it.
I look forward to this one. I mean, again, it's Carpenter.
It's Carpenter.
Though I think I said the same thing about McKay.
Well, yeah, but
it's not like it can be totally amateurish.
Well, it's definitely not that. I mean, I will say, and it also, no surprise, it's got a kick-ass score.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so that helps a lot. And another good cast. We got Jimmy Woods. Woods, folks, and
certainly not problematic. Just a fine actor.
But then I don't know. Has that balanced out by Daniel Baldwin as his sidekick?
Oh,
yeah. But you got Maximilian Schell, man. I don't know. Like
you got Schell.
It's good though. At least I think it's pretty fun. So
we're gonna see how it holds up.
I will say last thing though. Wish it had used the title of the novel it's based on, which is Vampires, but the S is a $.
Right.
Much better than just calling it Vampires.
I guarantee you that was a studio note, and I guarantee it was about American audiences will be too stupid to pick up on that.
Yeah, but it's like, that's perfect.
They won't understand what that means.
Because I have read the book, and I will talk about it, but like, yeah, the idea of there being...
I don't want to go see no vampire dollars.
Yeah, man, they ain't American dollars, man. All right? I don't support vampire currency. All right. So we'll talk about John Carpenter's vampires next week, but that is going to do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
Rise and kneel before your God.